Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Action Bros Gaming.
I'm just immaculately gorgeous in this lighting.
You are. You are
My voice,
glistening.
my voice sounds crisp as hell in that
Glistening.
mic. Thank you, Angel in the background. But yeah, my voice is probably crispy as hell in that mic.
Yeah, with the new setup and the new microphone. Thank you, brother. He got me this new Blue Yeti.
Very nice. It's sleek. It's black.
It fits everything else because I have
Got
I got a lot of black and green going on, and then I just had this fucking silver looking mic sitting out, and it
Yeah.
just stood out compared to everything else.
No, I get that. Plus, I mean, is that a new stabilizer? Or
No,
you
no,
had that?
I've had this. However, I couldn't find this little C clamp piece right here.
Oh, that
So I
was
had
just
nothing.
missing.
I had nothing to attach it to. So I just had it sitting over here, like I want it. I need it.
Yeah.
And I was looking
Right.
for it the other day, and I finally found it. So
Yeah. I'm not a huge gift receiver when it comes to Christmas, so I tell Jeremy never to get me anything. But I also like to give gifts, so I get him something every year.
yes, I hate it.
It makes him so uncomfortable. He hates that I do that.
Yes,
His embarrassment and his guilt for not getting me anything, that actually is my gift.
exactly. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm like, fuck, I didn't get Riley anything for this year, and I'm like, wait, that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah, I want you to feel bad. That's it.
I hate you.
It's the best.
Uh,
But I didn't go crazy this year because I was just too busy with shit, so I just got him a
it has
cigar.
been a busy year.
Yeah, it's been
Holy
been,
shit.
It's been kind of choked up with
I feel like
shit.
it's been like that with everybody as far as I've seen. Like everybody's going crazy.
I'll let you know, this Bailey's coffee tasted really good, better even in my Black Girl Magic mug.
Yeah, say give it thanks to Jace.
Yeah, shout out to Jace who got this, saw it, read it, and thought of me when he bought it.
Yeah.
Weirdly accurate.
Weirdly accurate. Yeah, honestly, it's one of those gifts, kind of like I think it was the Bill Burr skit where, it's when the guy gets him pants for his birthday and they fit perfectly. He's like, how fucking gay is that?
It's like, oh god, I don't know if that was Bill Burr, but I can't remember the comedian who did
it's
it.
so funny though.
But yeah, it's a really funny. It's just like the gayest gif I've ever received was a pair of pants that fit.
Comedian C.
Because my friend eyeballed me, looked at my hips, thought, you look like a 38, and then bought a pair of pants and it fit perfectly. And he thought, that is really gay. He was like, and before anyone jumps down my throat for using the word
I
gay,
don't know.
it's gay like fucking another man in the ass. It is that type of gay.
Let's be honest. Let's.
It's gay like that.
It's the modern gay.
Yeah. But me, I'm more of a Greek philosopher gay, where I believe as long as you're on top, you're free and clear of anything.
Which is why Riley is a power bottom.
I don't know if that makes me even gayer to be a power bottom as opposed to just a regular bottom. I don't know. Queers in the audience, give me a college thesis on being a power bottom. Is that gayer than being just a regular bottom?
Yeah, those who had gotten their degrees in gender studies.
Yes.
This is your time to shine.
This is it. Your degree is finally good for something. Now's the time for me to learn and educate myself on power bottom dynamics.
Could you do me a favor? That broom is sitting in the shot and it's pissing me off because everything looks. I mean, it's trashy once you get up because then it shows. No, don't just set it down. Throw it over there. Great.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Because your body covers up my laundry mess, and so
Yeah.
now the shot looks like relatively okay.
Yeah. Now it looks like this house gets cleaned.
It's clean because I just block everything else in
Yeah.
view.
This is like when a 10-year-old just shoves everything under his bed and calls his room clean.
Yes.
It's that kind of clean.
Exactly. Except my bed doesn't have anything.
It's
like
not a frame.
it sits on
It
a
just sits on the floor.
well, sort of. It sits on like a I don't know what they.
Well, yeah,
what
it's
they
a
call it.
box spring.
Yeah, the
but
box
it's
spring.
There's no frame. It's just a box spring on the ground with a mattress on top.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking at getting a frame. But
Don't bother.
yeah.
Listen, bed frames, it's like the top sheet, you know? It's a
Yeah.
completely unnecessary addition to the whole like sleeping
It's like the
experience.
middle pillow.
It's the most decorative thing that you can get for your bed. It's like, yeah, it's nice. It has like an air of like class to it, but overall, when you're trying to plow out your wife, and I mean like you're really trying to put a baby in her. I mean like you are want this woman to be the most pregnant woman in the world. You don't want like a wood frame like putting dents in your drywall or like
You
chipping
don't
the
want
paint
it. You
off
don't
your
want it to sound like you're doing construction inside your house.
exactly. You want a nice, quiet, box
Experience.
spring that just sits on the
You want
ground.
to be able to hear each other.
Yeah, you want to hear each other moan, rather than it being drowned out by the creaks and solders of like a wood frame. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like when tectonic plates like
Shift, yeah.
grind and shift against each other.
Exactly. Oh man, but what a year it's been. We've this is the year that we started doing the JR Critics, where we started talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
shows and whatnot. We started with, I think, Book of Boba Fett, right?
good first year.
Good first year, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's
Book
it's
of
been
Boba Fett.
it's been a wild ride. Let me see if I can find the first video we started doing as far as
Well,
Junior Critics goes. Well, actually,
I
no.
do think it was.
I do think it was Book of Boba Fett, because that was before we even had the name.
Yeah, exactly. That was before it was just like it's just a subsidiary of like Action Bros Gaming. It's not its own thing.
Right, exactly. Let's see.
Um,
Going back even further.
Couch
Oh no.
Coffee,
Go.
listen.
So let's see. Couch Coffee and Chords. Let's
Even
see, D&D.
further, even further down.
Oh, there it is. It looks like the very first for Junior Critics was what made the Fellowship great, which was a very fun video.
But that was while it was
Oh,
called Junior
yeah,
Critics.
that's right. It's live
Yeah.
streams. I always forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
8 months ago, 10 months ago.
Let's see. No, that's Couch Coffee and Chords. It's the
Oh.
Halo TV show. That's
The
what started
Halo
it.
TV show. Really?
Dog shit.
Wow. And
Absolute
we did the
trash.
Kenobi show.
Yeah, we
live
did the
stream.
Kenobi show as well.
Yeah.
Those
What was
those were fun. Those were fun makes.
It's fun to shit on things.
Oh, it's very fun shitting on things. Man, but yeah,
I
no.
like
So
how
we.
I like how I went through so many like beard styles.
Oh, yeah,
throughout the months.
But yeah, so we had the Halo TV show. We had Kenobi. We had
Mm-hmm.
freaking Rings of all of them utter trash. I think Halo was the worst for me, just because like normally it would be something like Rings of Power, because I'm big into Lord of the Rings. I grew up with the movies. I absolutely loved it. But I've spent way more time invested in Halo
Yeah.
than I have Rings of Power. So that was like that show completely shat on the fan base. It was an insult of a show, honestly.
Oh yeah. Where it's just like, I imagine where Halo was such a huge franchise for you as a kid.
Yes.
You played all the games.
Absolutely.
They were all like big parts of like your childhood.
Mhm.
I believe you said like Halo Reach was like the game.
It was. I
was.
mean, for me, like I have a heavy nostalgia for Halo 3, and I always have.
Yeah.
But I played more of Halo Reach than anything else.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt. That
oh,
game
sure.
was my game.
And you know what though, it's a beloved franchise.
Yes.
Everybody like has great childhood memories of like when you realize that in Halo 2 you were able to break the Warthog windshield.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was a huge moment for me.
Oh yeah.
That was an enormous
It's like it's
moment.
a huge moment for gaming, because you're like, wow, you can actually do damage to vehicles, and it shows.
Yeah.
It's like the industriousness of the Halo games really. That's why they were a flagship franchise, was because
Yeah.
they were leading the charge in video game development.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And so, as a huge fan of the franchise, you should be excited that
Oh
they're
my-
going to make a live action
Look,
adaptation.
when they announced the live action show 10 years ago with Steven Spielberg backing it, I was
Mhm.
like, how can this be bad? How
Mhm.
can you fuck up this show? You got Steven Spielberg backing the show.
Mhm.
You've got, the Halo franchise, the Halo IP.
You know who
like-
I think would have been better?
Who?
James Gunn.
James Gunn? I think
As a
I think
Halo director?
I think he could make that work, because
Yeah.
the thing about the Halo games that a lot of people miss is they either go too they usually try to make it too, I wouldn't say too dark, but either too light or too dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, Halo 2 kind of had it had the perfect balance where You had the awful stuff that actually ends up happening in the game and the things that you see, but it also has this lighthearted humor
It's
about
like you
it.
saw the Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
Yes.
both of them, where it's like you had like that James Gunn where he had this lighthearted like character. He's like a badass.
Right.
I think he would have written Sergeant.
Oh
Awesome.
yes, Sergeant Johnson. I think he would kill
James
Sergeant.
Gunn would have perfected Sergeant Johnson.
I think he would
He
make
would
it,
have
he would
got
do
the
a great.
perfect guy. He would have had the perfect sense of humor.
Yep.
He would have been the right amount of badass, like
Yep.
veteran old
Yep.
guy who's seen war.
The only thing I think I was about to say, the only thing I think James Gunn would lack is really the darker side of Halo with
Well,
the whole
yeah,
killing,
there is-
like the glassing of the planets and like for instance, look at the ODST trailers and like the
Mhm.
Halo, like one of the Halo 3 Halo Landfall is what it's called.
Yeah.
But like those trailers where they really show the realism and the
Well,
harsh fighting that it has.
It would have had to have been a collaboration. James
Yes.
Gunn wouldn't have been able to do it on his own.
No.
But, however, I don't know if I can give James Gunn credit for this scene, but in Guardians Galaxy 2, where he, like, Star-Lord is talking to his dad,
Yeah.
and then he's just like, and then he says that line of
Yeah.
like, it killed me to put that tumor in her head.
Yes. Oh my God, that was.
I think
that
it
was
would.
good.
I think he would have had like moments of bringing it back to dark reality.
Yes, that I think James Gunn would be a good fit.
Yeah.
I definitely think he would have did a better job than what they did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But James Gunn, I think he would have been a good fit because he can do humor and lighthearted characters pretty well.
I agree.
He can do dark moments pretty well when they matter. But
right.
the thing is, Halo isn't really known for having
No,
horrible dark moments.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a dark fantasy
No,
or
no,
anything
no.
like that.
It more of those dark elements are in like extended lore and
Yeah.
things like that. That's usually
It's
where they.
background stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The that's why everybody tends to look to Halo 2 because Halo 2, even though it's in the background you have they're glassing the Earth planet and killing bunches of millions of
Yeah.
people. They're annihilating our race. You have like that's more of the Halo Wars sort of
Yeah.
lineup. But Halo 2 is like an 80s action film where Master Chief's
Well,
like,
yeah.
I need a weapon.
Yeah, Halo 1 to I don't even know how many there are. Are there like 5 yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But like those are just like over the top gunfights.
Yes.
Which James Gunn can absolutely do an over the
Oh
top
yeah,
gunfight.
yeah.
No problem.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Steven Spielberg, I'm sure he would have been great as
I-
far as
yeah,
getting the background
I
story.
was about to say I think Spielberg was more of a hype than anything else because he was
Yeah.
mostly just a producer and he didn't actually really touch much of the show.
Yeah, exactly. So
Um,
I think it was just a name that they were
Yeah. And
tacking
the
on.
writers who were a part of the Halo show, I'm pretty sure were a part of either Rings of Power or was it She-Hulk? I can't remember. But they were a part of another garbage show. Oh no,
Yeah.
Kenobi, that's what it was. Speaking
Kenobi.
of Kenobi
Yeah,
was
next on
garbage.
the line, Kenobi show.
Garbage.
That fight between Kenobi and Darth Vader where they like multiple times forget that they're holding lightsabers in their hands.
Yes. Oh my god,
Oh,
it's
God.
absolutely awful. I Kenobi, that and the whole like holding Leia in the trench coat
Yeah.
while walking through this Imperial fortress. It's
Mhm.
like what the
That
fuck?
scene where an actual child outran like 5 trained mercenaries
Yes.
and kidnappers.
Oh my god! And then
She like duped them all.
I can't believe the cope. There was a coworker of mine. It was so cope because I went up to him. He was like, "What do you don't dislike about Andor or Kenobi?" And I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was, "Oh, the fact that Vader is chasing Obi-Wan Kenobi, lands on the planet, walks towards Kenobi for a good 30 seconds, and goes, 'You've come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?'" And I'm like, "Didn't you just chase the man all the way over here?"
I was
And he's like,
you followed him.
Yeah, you followed him. And he was trying to explain to me why it was actually, Obi-Wan coming to destroy Vader. And I'm like, do you understand what you're trying to argue here?
Yeah.
Like, oh God. But we had that. I think the one that we broke down the most was She-Hulk and Rings of Power.
No.
Where
I mean, it's well documented why those shows suck.
yes, I think She-Hulk
Kenobi,
more so.
What surprised me is how many people are backing Kenobi.
I know. It's like how? And honestly, I think it's just
I was just like-
El McGregor.
Yeah, I mean, Ewan McGregor is in there, and he's a fine actor.
He is.
Perfectly fine actor.
Absolutely.
But it's just like that scene where it's like he's just in Tatooine watching over Luke, watching him grow up and shit. And the like Princess Leia's like dad, what was his name? King something.
Oh shit.
He was like the monarch of
Yeah,
the planet of Alderaan
Oh,
or something like that. But yeah, basically like he comes down and he's like
It was Senator Organa.
Senator Organa. I can't remember his first name, but
Father. Bail Organa. That's
Bail
it.
Organa.
I realized that right as I type it.
Yeah, Bail Organa, where he like comes to Tatooine to talk to Kenobi. It was just like, you are the only man who can get my daughter back, and he's just like, you are the monarch of an entire planet. You have an army.
Yes.
You have countless resources.
And he's like, they don't understand how important she is, but you do. It's like, no, she's the princess of fucking the planet.
She is the runner-up to. She's going to adopt the throne one day.
Exactly.
I was like, no one understands just how important that this girl is. I'm like, she is literally heir to the throne of your entire government. I'm pretty sure people around the fucking galaxy would take her plenty seriously.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, I think there are people who would take them even more seriously than fucking Ewan McGregor.
No shit. No shit.
Ewan McGregor's thing is Luke right now.
Exactly. But yeah, we had those, and then
Moon Knight came out.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was good.
No, like I heard it was bad, but no one gave a shit about Moon Knight. And then we had was it Obi-Wan Kenobi? Or no, we just talked about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Andor.
Surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good. I'm actually going to watch the rest of it with Riley pretty soon. But with the first 3 episodes, because our live stream of that got taken down due to copyright for some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. We're finally getting big enough to notice.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. With the 4 people that watched that episode.
Yeah.
Where we're getting huge.
Yeah, all 4 of them reported us.
But Andor is it's surprisingly good, which sucks because no one's talking about it. So take our word for it. Go watch Andor. Fantastic show.
Yes. The Empire is written well. That's so rare.
That's enough.
That's all the reason you need.
Yes.
The Empire is actually competent and written well.
Instead of like, in the scene in the fortress where they're like, we need to check you up to make sure that you're here or meant to be here, and she goes, I outrank you, and he goes, oh, my apologies, go ahead. It's like, no, he's fucking security.
Yeah.
But in Andor with the Imperial Security Bureau, the ISB, they're like watching those scenes is just a thank you to the writers, because it's what I've been waiting for. It's fantastic. But some other good shows that came out actually this year were The Terminalist and Reacher. I know you haven't seen either of those.
Reacher was this year?
Reacher was this year?
Wow, feels like it was last year.
I that's what I thought. But I've watched both, and I gotta say, like, both were pretty good. I enjoyed them. I'm still gotta do my Terminalist review, along with my Andor review. That's what I'm working on at the moment. But they were both actually very entertaining. I think Reacher was definitely on the more comedy side.
Mm-hmm.
Terminalist is it's kind of an action thriller.
I guess so.
Very suspenseful. But Reacher was a lot of fun to watch, and then Terminalist was good as well. Some movies came out as well, but none that I think we really saw, except for Triple R, which was
Triple R,
absolute banger. That and
the only 10 out of 10 movie this year.
That and what was it called? Top Gun Maverick. Did you went and see that?
I did not.
You did not? You should.
No,
you should go see it. Like, it was a good movie, actually.
I was just like, the thing about reboots is that it's very hard to capture the magic of the first attempt.
Oh yeah.
Because it came out in a very specific time.
Yeah.
And now we live in very different times, so they have to change the formula. And once you change the formula, then it's no longer the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like the bones of what you're trying to do.
I do think though they do good with Top Gun Maverick. It gets a little floopy towards the third act.
Yeah. I mean, homoerotic volleyball scenes are timeless, so I mean, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, it's a classic. I mean,
as long as that's there, then I'm sure you'll be fine.
Oh man, I think me and you, it was either me and you or me and Shay once tried to play the drinking game for Top Gun, and we made it like 20 minutes in before we had to call game because we were taking
What were the rules again?
oh man, it's so great. Let me see. Top Gun drinking game. If any of y'all guys do this, you gotta play the drinking game for Top Gun. It is so much fucking fun. I love it. Yeah. How to play. Drink whenever. There's a high five. A plane takes off. Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone plays. Someone says Iceman, Maverick, or Goose. When Goose and company sing Great Balls of Fire, you do a waterfall. And finish your beer when Goose flies into the plane's windshield. If you want to kick things up a notch, drink whenever Maverick displays an order that breaks a rule. Anyone says Top Gun. And I think there was one more where we were like, drink whenever there's a homoerotic scene or something like that. Or that could be seen as homoerotic. And it was
just like during the volleyball scene, you have to take your beer and you can't put it down until the scene's over.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you put it down, it better be fucking empty.
Yeah.
Or else you lose.
Exactly. Oh man, it was incredibly fun though. So worth a try. Just drink safely, and smartly. But either way,
be a maverick. Break the rules.
Break the rules.
Drink and drive.
But we're not here for any of that. Surprisingly enough, we are here today to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. We are still going at it.
Yeah. This is still a good movie, and we're still talking about it.
It's still a fantastic fucking movie. I love it. In fact, now that we've finished our coffee, if you wouldn't mind getting those spheres out of the freezer and then some glasses, we're gonna kick this off and get started. So strap yourselves in, get settled, because we're going to be talking about some swashbucklers. So, starting off, picking up where we left off, Jack is making his point, stating he's like, "Hey, I know whose blood you need." Obviously, the blood being Will Turner's blood, which is the last piece. It's the payoff of the leverage essentially that he has on Will Turner that we've been setting up this whole time. It's like he's been building, knowing he has this ace in the hole if anything should go awry, and obviously, like reality, things went awry, but he still had this ace, and he's like, the girl's blood didn't work. And Barbosa immediately picks up on that and he goes, "You know whose blood we need?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know whose blood you need." So, cutting from there, we cut right into, what is this, the Inquisitor? No. The Interceptor, yeah. It's the Interceptor who's launching off, trying to get away essentially as fast as they can from fucking Isla de Muerta. God, my brain is mush at the moment.
It's fucking cold.
That is very cold. Another Christmas present. Thank you for
it's
the
like a shock put.
I know, right? So let's pour ourselves some drink. One quarter.
We drink deeply.
1/4 portion.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem at all. Okay. But yes, so we are trying to sail away from Isla de Muerta basically as fast as possible with the wind on our side. And this is the Will and Elizabeth talking. Yeah, and she's obviously bringing up like, I assume Will has caught her up to speed with the idea of like, yeah, he was wanting to use me so he could become captain of the Black Pearl again.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Wow, a man for a ship. That's kind of fucked up, man." And the common line that I really like that they use here often is anytime they talk about the morality of pirates, this or that, the pirate's life, they always just say pirate. So it's like, what kind of man would trade another man's life for a boat? He's like, a pirate. And then you have earlier on where it's like, you cheated, and he's like, pirate.
Yeah.
They really bring back up the fact it's like, yeah,
we are pirates. We are not good people.
We are not the best of people. We do shit because we can.
What was it? It was like Jack's origin story, which isn't really like said out loud. It's more so like hinted with bits and pieces throughout the movies.
Yes.
It's like, do you know about that?
I do. I read it once in a post thread, and I thought it was actually really fucking cool.
Yeah, it was like he let loose a bunch of slaves.
Yeah. The idea was he was working, I believe, on a ship that was transporting human slaves or human trafficking essentially, and that was a line that he thought that was a line that he didn't cross. He was like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah.
So he, I believe, makes a deal with the Flying Dutchman, and saves the 100 souls. And essentially what that does is makes the deal, and then he gets the ship, and that ship becomes the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the sequel movies come in, where that debt is to be repaid.
Yeah, with
because,
Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, because he was like, oh yeah, I freed these 100 souls. Now now you owe me these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. But yeah, it's good backstory to show that at least Jack does have somewhat of a conscience.
Yeah, he's just like, slavery, nah.
Not about that, fam.
He believes in freedom.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do like about Jack, is that he is like a freedom absolutist.
Yeah.
And it's good to have like a core value like that to give a character, because you can see that whenever Jack does anything, he never breaks that idea. He always believes in the idea of freedom to a fault. Like, he looks at a like a shit garbage place like Tortuga, and he's like, ugh, paradise.
No law, no gods, just man.
Just man in the sweat of his brow. And then Will's asking the obvious question. He's like, why did you, I feel like he's kind of doing the kid thing where she's like, hey, you used my name as Starboat instead of yours. Do you like me or something?
He's like, no, I was trying to disguise myself because I thought I was, being captured for being the governor's daughter.
Yeah, just claps back like that. Just like, no, I was trying to give myself the name of a peasant.
Yeah. I was like, no, I just didn't want them to think that I was royalty, so I picked a little bitch name.
Like Turner.
Yeah.
What I like is that, you get that kind of idea from, you get that more mature idea that she was trying to hide herself from being it's almost like a double entendre. Because
yeah.
As someone who's older and more mature, you're like, oh, she's trying to make, they talked about being the governor's daughter and this and that, and so she's trying to use this name to disguise her identity. But as a kid, you're looking at it and you're like, she used Turner because she likes him. And they kind of play into that here, because he's like, why'd you do that? And she looks at him, she's like, I don't know.
You know exactly why.
You know exactly why. It's like, you're hot.
I don't know. I guess it's because
God,
I think about you all the time.
Is it hot down here, or is it just the candles?
It was the first name that popped in my head because you're just so, like, in my brain all the time.
Rent free.
Just rent free. I was just like, I don't know, because I feel like this scene should have just been like, he should have been shot down in this scene. He should have had his ball stepped on just a little bit more.
It's like, I don't know, maybe it's because that's the name of a peasant.
Yeah. Someone that pirates would have no interest in because they have no money or status.
And then he hurts her and he's like, oh, he's like, I'm sorry, blacksmith's hands are rough. And she goes, no, I mean, yes, they are.
She is frothing out the gash right now for Turner.
God,
it's like, no, I mean, yes, they are so strong.
so rough.
Those are some...
But those eyes are so tender.
Maybe you can lightly choke me with those hands later. Okay, not so lightly.
I want you to mold me like one of your swords. God.
You want to hammer my vagina the way you do those dagger blanks?
Just, you're here, like, it does a cut to, like, looking at their house. You just hear bing, bing with her screaming.
Just like the ringing. Yeah, bend me over the anvil.
But yeah, you can tell they kind of like each other. I mean, look at that gaze. Look at that suave gaze.
That dreamy look in his eyes.
Yeah.
Staring at her very toothy grin.
Oh man. But yeah, he slowly tightens it. And if you look, and she legit says, "Just don't stop."
Dude, this is escalating to like softcore porn now.
Yeah,
This
I was
isn't
about to
just
say,
flirting anymore.
you know, as an adult, you're just like, I think I know where this is going, but as a
Yeah.
kid, you're like, oh, they do like each other.
I always, yeah, it was just like,
It's such a quick scene too, but like, they finally are kind of, I wouldn't say subtle, but they're kind of admitting their feelings towards each other.
yeah. This is like that part of the Bible where they added like a softcore porn story just right in the middle for no reason.
I mean, you know, every great story needs one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like it was just a jump cut into softcore porn out of nowhere. And then it went on to talk about Exodus, I think.
Jesus.
But
Oh. Yeah, don't stop. And he's like, oh shit, you like me. And she's like, yeah. And right as they're getting ready to kiss, he hesitates
Yeah,
because, you know, the man has a sense of propriety.
yeah, yes. He's just like he's not quite ready to fuck her in front of other people.
Well, I mean, I think the big thing is that he still thinks he's a lesser man.
Yeah.
He hasn't fully gone over the arc yet of being.
Would a lesser man grab a woman by the back of her nape like this? With like the thumb on the cheek, the way that like you pull in Shay to kiss her.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but
Sort of like that, like I'm being gentle, but I'm showing you my strength kind of thing.
exactly. Very effective.
Yeah.
Good strategy.
Good strategy, fellas.
And then he
If you-
adds on top the restraint and hesitates. So
Yeah.
it's like, so strong, so powerful, but still restrains himself.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a caged beast.
Wow, this is like, this is something like 50 Shades of Grey would write.
Honestly, it's No, this is better writing.
Oh, definitely.
This is better writing than 50 Shades of Grey.
Disney is better than 50 Shades of Grey.
Dude, if you just like had like, I don't know, like what do you call it when, I don't know, like a script, or it's not like a script,
Screenplay?
but screenplay, I think.
that's a movie script essentially.
Yeah, basically, where it's like, it's sort of like as a scene happens, you write out all the details as they happen.
Yeah, that's a screenplay. Yeah.
Okay, well, it'd be like if you had a screenplay of this particular scene, it would have been steamy as hell.
Oh yeah.
And like,
You're just like, huh. Just
like-
now you just need Gilbert Godfrey to narrate it.
he tied the bandages.
Turn it down. Let's see. And with his rough, hard hands, he tied the bow. And she said, holy shit! Don't stop! As he gazes lovingly into her eyes,
Oh.
he pulls her in with her hard, rough, and sexy hands. And then they
Holy
bang.
shit. Yeah. And then they don't kiss because he's permanently a cuck in this movie.
The restraint! Oh, man. Shay's probably wondering what the fuck is happening in there.
Art is happening. What you're witnessing, Shay, is what we call genius.
Oh, man. But yeah, so... She's enjoying it.
No, she heard Gilbert Gottfried's voice talk, like narrate porn, and she had to like dim the lights a little bit in the living room.
Oh, look at this hand. I was gonna say, and then she slowly over here brings down his hand, you know, obviously wanting to take him to second base. He is now at second base. And before that, she cucks him by bringing out the gold, and he's like, oh.
But I wanted to grab it.
Look at this face. He's like, oh,
I guess you can call this a titty.
He's like, but I wanted to touch the boob.
Yeah.
But no, this obviously is going to be the confusion and the realization of Will's past. So he's like, wait, what the fuck is that? I know this thing. I've seen this before. And it's the gold trinket that he had. And she says, it's yours. Pops
Man,
it
that
up.
thing snaps easily.
Oh my god,
You guys-
they do that like 5 times.
Like, you guys are just breaking more and more chain links.
I was about to say, I did that once when I was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I was just playing around, and I was like, oh, you know, pretending to die. I was like, take my dog tags. I broke it, and then I just had broken dog tags, and I was like, well, fuck. This doesn't work like it does in the movies.
Usually this is reattachable. Yeah, it's just like, unless this is made out of like hemp rope or like a string, you can't really tie it back. This is like, but like looking at it, it's like that's gold chain link. Like once you snap one, you're missing a link now.
Now I mean, like,
you have to reforge it entirely.
To be fair, the scene as it played out in my head was beautiful.
Yes.
I just, I was out of a chain, so it is what it is.
Then you had to like get backup chains.
Yeah. So I could repeat the memories. And he's like, I thought I'd lost it the day they rescued me. So obviously he remembers it. It was a gift from my father. He sent it to me. And so she's realizing,
I just robbed a man of a parting gift from his dead dad.
Well, not only that, but it's like, his dad was with them.
Yeah.
He hung out with those dweebs.
Yeah. Those dweebs. Those fucking pirates who laid waste to entire cities. Yeah, those dweebs.
He's like, she's realizing that he is in fact a pirate. Arg. I'm definitely going to clip that whole romance scene and just make that a separate video.
You need to get a screenplay of that scene and just do that. You do a really good Gilbert Gottfried.
Thank you. I realized that talent once before. So I appreciate that I can at least do a good Gilbert Gottfried. God rest his soul.
Then you just end it with, and then he goes to second base.
See. And so Will's like, well, obviously, why the fuck did you take it? And she responds in kind, with an honest answer, because I was afraid that you're a pirate. Because obviously, knowing Norrington, she just had literally, like when she was a kid, he literally just had said, I believe a pirate should essentially be hanged.
Yeah.
I believe every pirate that wears a pirate brand and has a pirate mark gets what he deserves. A short drop and a sudden stop, that whole line. And then she finds this cute kid with a pirate medallion. She's like, fuck, if they find this, he's dead.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna snatch
They are
this
not
shit.
above hanging children.
Hell, they do that in the third movie.
That's right, they did.
They killed a kid.
They killed a kid on screen. It was really funny.
It was honestly, when I was a kid, I was like, how's he gonna get out of this? And then it drops and you see the coins, and I was like, the slow horror grows on my face where I'm like, they did that.
They did it. They had the balls.
Honestly,
they had to make up for it during the pirate raid where that little kid was screaming in the streets. They didn't kill him then, but they finally made recompense by killing a kid later.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, like the balls on Disney back in the day were much bigger.
No. Their idea of having balls is having a character include non-binary pronouns.
Yeah.
That's their idea.
That's
of
brave.
No, our idea of brave is shooting a child in the face and you see his face open. You see the window.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, putting that on film to make a visual screenplay, like, that takes balls.
Yeah, that is enormous balls.
Like straight up hanging a kid. Of course, they don't actually show the drop and the neck snap and all that stuff, but the implication is enough.
See, me and Jeremy are going to take it one step further, where we don't cut. We actually hang a kid. We just hire a kid. We trick him into thinking that he'll be like, live long enough to see the end credits. Then we just kick the chair.
Fucking hell. Jesus.
Yeah, we're brave. We're visionaries.
Oh God. We do not actually endorse killing people, by the way, just so you know.
Just
this is all satirical.
Yeah. Put a
disclaimer.
Put a disclaimer right before I go on this rant. We do not endorse.
We do not
endorse children.
We do not it's one of those things where it's like, we do not endorse the views of Riley Walton.
Riley Walton has been fired for offensive comment. It's like, I'm just
you're banned on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm just out on a podium with cameras flashing in my face. I have to read an apology, a scripted apology that you wrote.
Honestly, if I had to do that, it would just have a bunch of compliments towards me.
It's like, Jeremy Crofts is a very handsome man. able to bench press 175 as of recently.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what the fuck is this? Isn't an apology.
It's like, I know.
Keep reading, bitch, if you want to keep your job and your spot on the show.
Oh, man.
All right.
So anyway, as we continue, see, and she was like, yeah, no shit, that would have been awful. She's like, that would have been awful. It's like, yes. And he goes, it wasn't your blood you needed. And this face, I think this is good acting on Gary.
Yeah.
Gary, I almost said Gary Oldman. Jesus Christ.
Gary Oldman.
No.
You know what? I think he would have looked a little bit like him if
maybe.
young
I could see
Gary
that.
Oldman.
I can see that.
They're both English actors.
Mm-hmm. I'm forgetting.
Wait, is Orlando Bloom English?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't see him in anything American, so I
Yeah.
think he's British, yeah. But this is his face of realization, like, oh shit, they didn't. Yeah, I have the blood of a pirate, and back in these days, your lineage does have meaning.
Oh yeah,
like your ancestry is important. Like
yeah, except for Elizabeth apparently.
but blood ties are meaningful, and so. Realizing that you have the blood of a pirate, you feel like that is now a part of you that you could never be rid of.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in a more modern sense, we understand that although, history is still history, you can be who you want to be, essentially. You're able to break from your family's norms and be able to lead your own life. But back in the day, it was more not necessarily one-to-one, but you feel like you at least carry, I guess, the burdens of your fathers, essentially. Yeah. Or and so with this, he's like, it wasn't your blood they needed, and he's realizing he was the leverage from Jack too. He's like, it was my father's blood, my blood. And then the realization, the anger, where he's like, fucking hell. He's like,
dude, be careful, you're gonna dent that coin. It's pure gold.
Yeah, right.
It's pure gold.
He's gonna with those masculine hands.
He's just like, he opens his palm and it's just like crumbled in his hand.
And he bends the gold coin with his masculine hands.
With his rough, sandpapery hands.
With his 80 grit hands.
80 grit? That's rough.
That's rough, buddy.
Nah, that's just sand. That's just like broken glass on the floor. That's what 80 grit is.
And she obviously feels bad for it because, he's always had this high respect and, this sense of propriety.
Yeah.
Calling back to the beginning of trying to hold himself higher to hold himself to a high bar, even though he's a lowly blacksmith.
Yeah.
Calling her Miss Swan, always being orderly, always keeping himself in a good postured position. It's like he always wanted to be proper. And now he was just told, yeah, no, your dad was a fucking pirate, which now that's in your blood.
You're actually even lower of a person than you originally thought.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he always thought of his dad as a merchant sailor who obeyed the law. So he always thought highly of his family. So now it's like, not only are you trash, but you're like the worms inside the trash.
Yeah. You went from a beta male to a beta lib cock.
Exactly. Oh man, so like he's not feeling great, obviously, and he's pretty pissed about that. And Elizabeth would feel awful about it too.
Yeah.
And so she ends up leaving because women and emotion.
Imagine if he just like ripped off her dress right now.
He's like, well, if I'm a pirate, better act like
I'm a pirate. I guess there's no rules.
but yeah, so now he's sitting here and he gets to contemplate the life he's lived up until this point. And now we cut to a good stupid scene.
Yeah.
Where Jack has been smart up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is probably one of the stupidest things Jack does in this movie.
Yeah.
At least in this movie. And so I think mostly the main reason why is because he has such a vendetta to Barbosa that he has this main leverage that is a big leverage. It's a huge point, right? But he's going to use it to get exact revenge, like very precise revenge on Barbosa, and because Barbosa looks at him and he goes, "So you expect to leave me on some beach with nothing but a name and your word? It's the one I need, and watch you sail away on my ship." And so Jack goes, "No. I expect to leave you on some beach with no name at all, watching me sail away on my ship, and then I'll shout the name back
Back
to
to
you.
you.
Because as they said earlier with the mutinous Barbosa, they left Jack on an island with a pistol. So now he wants to leverage basically their freedom from this curse by leaving Barbosa on an island
Yeah.
by himself. So he's wanting to basically completely flip it. And although, you know, I understand the point of getting revenge for what they've done to you, he is obviously overplaying his hand
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
situation. And it does end up floundering in his face. And he's like, I'll shout the name back to you. And Barbosa quips back. But that still leaves me on the beach with nothing but a name. In your word, it's the one I need. And then even though, so he's sitting there, he's like, look, you know, you're leaving me on an island with nothing but a name, and I'm trusting you that this is what I need, even though, you know, we obviously hate each other.
Yeah.
Which honestly isn't necessarily the best argument when it comes to trusting Jack, because Jack has a good comeback where he says, of the two of us, I'm the only one who hasn't been committed mutiny.
Yeah.
He's like, therefore, my word is the one we'll be trusting. And I also like another reference that you see here where remember the apple motif
Yeah.
of
yeah, apples show up a lot.
they
in this.
show up a lot in this.
I don't know if it's like a Garden of Eden reference, but
Yeah,
you know.
but essentially Jack is like taking 3 or 4, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, won't help myself. And he's like, let me just take
they
some
don't
of
do you any good.
these. Yeah. Oh, I like this. He goes, although I suppose I should be thanking you because, in fact, you know, if you hadn't betrayed me and left me to die, I would have an equal share in that curse, same as you. So it's a bit of a convenient irony.
And then he goes to take the bite of the apple.
And he goes to take the bite of the green apple, which even with the filter, that is a bright green.
Yeah, that's a beautiful apple.
It is a delicious looking apple. Look at that satisfied face.
He's like, that is sour.
And I feel like this is definitely oh man, it's definitely an irony in the sense where he's eating the apple, enjoying it after Barbosa went on that whole rant about how he has no feeling, no taste, and he offers up the apple as the end of his monologue. And so Jack is talking about like, hey, look, if you weren't a fucking dick, we would be in this situation together. As he's taking a bite out of a delicious looking apple.
Yeah.
And I like that because he's
that's
like
a clean looking
oh
apple.
yeah, because he's like basically saying, you know, funny world, isn't he? He's like, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? And Barbossa's just like, yeah, you motherfucker,
You piece of shit.
He's like, I fucking hate you. Like, you could tell like he's pissed about it. He offers him the apple.
Yeah, he offers him.
Like, do you want to bite of the apple? which just like it just pisses in the wound.
just to
It's
fucking
like
rub it in.
literally just like, God, what a tasty apple. You want a piece?
Like, imagine it's just like, hey man, I know you quit drinking years ago, and I know you crave it every day, but man, this fucking whiskey, this Tennessee honey,
Oh,
this
man.
shit's great.
It's just great. Want
Want
a shot?
some?
Yeah,
Want
want
some?
Want a shot? It's just like, man, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's very fuck you attitude, which
Yeah.
honestly is apt for
Jack?
For Jack.
Specifically, yeah.
Specifically in this situation, because I mean, if this man's held a grudge with a singular pistol for 10 fucking years, you can tell he's gonna milk this shit dry.
Yeah, which makes me think, I was just like, man, for 10 years you held that same shot. Is the gunpowder still any good?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, I think that's
like,
the
does gunpowder expire?
yeah, I mean after being in water, unless it has time to dry, it's basically mute. Plus with a pistol, a flintlock pistol, one of the operations you have to do first off. Now, it depends on the pistol. But generally, you put the gunpowder, of course, in the pistol, you pack it in with the load, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also put some black powder on the outside of the gun. You pour some in a little tray, so that way when the flint and steel connect and the fire spark goes down, it goes down right into that tray, and then that feeds in through a tube, which ignites the gunpowder inside.
Yeah.
So generally, you will have a little bit of gunpowder on the outside, but you know, when it comes to pirates, they were able to carry a few at a time. However, too much rustling around could cause it to not ignite that gunpowder, because you do need a decent amount to create that ignition.
Yeah.
Now I could be mistaken. I know a little bit about flintlocks, but I don't know an incredibly ton. I don't know how much jumping around or anything could essentially disarm one. But I could say for effort, Jack has been on these ships relatively recently, and he gets off of them when he ends up using the shot spoilers. It has been he did get off of a ship fairly recently and didn't really touch water, so it could be said that when he was on the ship, he could have just poured some in. He could keep up with it, in my opinion.
Well,
It's not out of reach in my opinion.
Sure.
I don't think it's out of the game.
Okay.
Because because you have to think, if he's saving that shot for one person, you would think that he would keep that maintained.
For sure.
You don't think he would just, leave it wandering around, throw it this and that, and fucking unload it or whatever, and just hold on to it. I feel like he would keep that maintained, so that way when the time comes, he could use it, especially as we're reaching a climax like this. He's like, yeah, I'd better make sure that shot's ready. So I could believe it. And then here's the funny thing that Jack, for some reason, was not predicting. Because he's obviously overplayed his hand, which I think is intentional, writing-wise. But they say, Captain, we're coming up on the interceptor. And Jack has forgot his own thing. His own thing, like the fastest ship in the world is the Black Pearl.
Yeah. Because
it's a cursed ship. So, he plays his hand talking about, the interceptor or talking about Will Turner and that he has this leverage. Well, it just so happens that they were chasing the interceptor the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're almost on it. And Jack essentially is like, wait, fucking what? And he's like, shit, because he knows that's the fucking ship that Will Turner's on. He's like, if they catch the ship, my leverage is gone. And so he's like, I'm having a thought. And so he tries to basically wiggle out of it. He's like, why don't we flag up a truce? And he runs over to the interceptor and he negotiates the return of the medallion. And this, he's trying to play because they're obviously chasing the medallion. They don't know that Turner's on the ship, but he knows.
Exactly.
So essentially, he's like, how about, I'll negotiate the return of your medallion. I'll go over there myself. That way they don't find Will.
Yeah.
But they make a funny pass, or Barbosa does, and he goes, that's the attitude that lost you the pearl. He's like, people are easier to search when they're dead. Which is bad for Jack, because if they kill Will, then he loses everything.
Well, I mean, it's bad for them if they kill Will, too.
Exactly.
Because then he's just dead. They need his blood, and if he's sank to the bottom of the ocean just like his dad, that's it.
They'd be cursed for eternity.
Yeah, exactly.
Lock him in the brig. And so they're locking him up in the brig. I love as he looks at the apple.
He wants to so bad.
Throws it. He's so mad. I love it. And so they're sailing away, trying to escape. And Gibbs is shouting out orders as they're trying to go. Let me turn this down a little bit more that way, because I don't want us to get copywritten. With this wind, she'll carry every sail we've got. Yeah, the Black Pearl, of course, is going to gain on you. Because it's a cursed fucking ship.
And it has,
look at that. I do like this shot,
gold
though.
GPS.
Like, yeah. I was about to say, like, the cool thing about this show or this movie is that even though it's a cartoon kind of fantasy sort of situation, I love this shot because look how ominous that fucking looks. Like the mist is following the Black Pearl.
In every scene that we see the Black Pearl, it's surrounded by fog and clouds.
Exactly. Like it is a spooky ship.
Yeah.
It's a very spooky ship, and that's something I can appreciate. Here, I'm not using my coaster. Why don't you take it?
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you.
No problem. I set mine on the side. That way it doesn't clink, and I can just roll it. So, but yeah. So she's like, shit. She doesn't understand, because obviously it's the fastest ship. And essentially what's happening is there is a little bit of shore that you'll see in a few seconds. They're trying to outrun the Black Pearl. This is impossible.
Yeah.
However, essentially what the plan is that they're going to try and give themselves their best bet. They're like, yeah, can we lose them across these shoals? Because it's faster on the in shallow water, essentially. So essentially what they're going to do is they're going to try and dump all of their luggage. That way they get as lightweight as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to try and lose them on the shoals, uh, and try and escape that away. Uh, Essentially it's all for naught because the Black Pearl can catch up regardless.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily know that. They don't know the power of this cursed ship. So Jack looks out and he sees that they're dumping everything, all of their food rations, all of their water. They're like, "Fuck it, throw that out." Barbossa's like, "Yeah, we're gonna catch up. There's no way that we're losing that. So go ahead and prep the guns, get everything ready," which is smart on Barbossa's part because cannons take a while.
Yeah.
I do like that now is where they're raising the flag because that is actually a common, if I'm not mistaken, history buffs do correct me, but a common thing is pirates would not show their flag until they were about to attack someone.
Mm-hmm.
Main reason why is because if you show your flag, they obviously know that you're a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes pirates, now albeit with the Black Pearl, it's kind of obvious regardless.
Yeah.
However,
It's
with
like, is that ship surrounded by fog and mist? Let's steer clear of that. That's ominous as hell.
Yeah. So, but back in the day, they would sail up close to enemy vessels,
Mm-hmm.
disguised per se as kind of maybe an English ship,
Yeah.
and then they'd throw up their black flag and be like, "Yeah, we're pirates, fire cannons," and they'd blow them to bits, and then they would be obviously basically caught with the English would be caught with their pants down.
Yeah.
And so I like that now is when they raise up their flag because it's kind of the announcement of like, yes, we're going into attack mode. But you see, they come up, they're dumping everything. Will's looking out, and he's like, "Shit, that thing's already caught up." And then they bring out like the Viking oars.
Mm-hmm.
And Will stops him. He's like, "No, they're going to catch up. There's no. I mean, look at that. Is that not freaking cool as hell?"
See, it follows them.
It follows them like
The fog is following them.
Let me get rid of us real quick so y'all guys can see this. But I mean, look at that ship. Like that is scary as hell. Following this little frigate.
It appears like the ship right now is like in its true visage.
Yes, this is the ship. It's got a big back deck up over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was never really super fond of these kinds of ship styles in particular where they have like honestly, I didn't like having too much junk in the trunk.
Yeah.
When it came to ships, I like more of the sleek line, like the Inquisitor over here. However, I think this works because of how spooky of a ship it is, because it's a very unique design. It doesn't look like many a ship that you're gonna see out there on the seven seas. And so this is just a great shot seeing this freaking terrifying beast catching up at lightning speed to the Inquisitor. Which is something I can really appreciate. I like that shot, and it is flying. As far as ships go.
Yeah.
And so like, yep, they're caught up. It was a good plan until now.
Great. They've caught up, and we threw away all of our food.
Yeah. So here's the situation that they are in. They're like, okay, we can't outrun them anymore. So if they catch up to us, their guns are at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
So we're fucked. So, essentially we either need to man our cannons now and wait for them to catch up to us, or we make the offensive and try and, attack their ship first and get the upper hand.
Yeah.
Those are the two options that we have. Either wait for them to get to us or try and get them on the upper hand. How do we make the upper hand? And I think this is actually a cool scene. This is one of the coolest scenes in the movie, in my opinion. As far as fights go and building up, it's a smart move. And like, load the guns. Will is literally saying just like shove anything in there and then we can load the guns. And Gibbs is like, well, shit, fine, let's like throw it all in there. Nails and crushed glass with a will. So I love this scene where they're just throwing like forks and knives in there. I love this. He takes the flask and throws it in there. Like it's great fun. But it's what they do here that I really like. So they're loading up, getting ready for the fight. Jack's looking, seeing that they're catching up, right? They're making good gains on everything. I might just lower this. I might just mute this. It's fine. And so they know where they're coming up. They'll rake us without presenting a target. So essentially, what it is he's like, look, when the Black Pearl catches up to us, we're fucked.
Yeah.
So we'll do the best we can, but essentially we're done for. And I think she said they're going to come up on, port side. Oh God, I don't remember my sea terms, but essentially, they're going to come up on our left side.
Yeah.
Is what he's alleging, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it's port and starboard. So they're going to come up port side, left side on the ship, and then they'll just destroy us.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, well, let's lower the anchor on the right side, because on the starboard side. And then what essentially that'll do is as soon as they drop anchor at full speed, they're essentially going to Tokyo drift this fucking boat.
Yeah.
And spin that bitch right round 180, and then they're going to try and attack them from that way.
Sick.
And blow the offensive, which honestly, as a ship idea, or as ship mechanics go, I'm a fan of this, because I really like these sorts of like large dog fights, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
One of my favorite books actually was one of the Halo books. It was it was either Fall of Reach. I think it was Fall of Reach. Either that or it was I'm almost positive it was Fall of Reach, because you follow Captain Keyes, and he does this thing called the Keyes loop. So essentially you get to read a battle between this one frigate. I think it was either a frigate or it was a carrier, and he's going up against 3 Covenant ships. Obviously, as a carrier by himself, they don't have enough firepower to knock out shields of a Covenant ship. So this is going to get super nerdy, so bear with me here. But I find this to be really, really cool. I really like these big ship battles, because they have this sort of grandioseness about them that I think is cool. Also because of the fact that they move slow, so that they have to be more methodical about their attacks.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just wiggle your way out of these situations. If you make them play, you got to play it.
Yeah.
Essentially what he does is, I'll actually bring it up real quick for everyone to see. Let's do this. Let's do that. That works. See. Because they do a picture of it. Yeah. Open image in new tab. Oh God, that's terrible.
Zoom.
Oh
Can't
God,
even read it.
Can't even fucking. Okay, let's try that again. That's better. Okay. So essentially, what you have is this UNSC ship. It's got 2 Covenant frigates and a Covenant destroyer. Essentially, what he does is he veers to the left. Let's see. Hold on. Let's do this. There we go. So essentially, what he does is he veers to the left and he starts basically decking it after this Covenant carrier, and he fires a nuke at it. Right?
Yeah.
Here's the cool thing. So the 2 Covenant frigates have fired missiles like torpedoes at him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he basically guns it towards this destroyer. This Covenant, I guess he's gunning for the destroyer. Okay. So essentially, he gets so close in the book that the shields actually cut off a part of his ship.
Really?
Because he's like edging it that close. He's grating it up against the ship. And essentially the main reason why is because he has these two missiles that the Covenant frigates launched are coming at him. And essentially, he scrapes by. Their fire hits the destroyer because they had fired those nukes. Because he was grazing it so tightly, the missiles that were following him hit the destroyer, knock out the shields. He guns it, loops around the planet, and then fires back at the ships that attacked him in the first place.
Wow.
So it's it's called the Keyes loop. It gets a little turn, coins a little turn. So yeah, he fires a nuke at the destroyer while being tailed by the nukes that the frigates were firing. So he knocks out the shields, right? Mm-hmm. And as he's grazing past the rest of it, the torpedoes that they launch get destroyed. Essentially destroys the destroyer, loops around and then fires back at them from head on.
Gotcha.
So it's like these kinds of cool maneuvers. I just think they're neat. They're fun to look at.
Yeah.
I appreciate them. But it's these sorts of things that really fascinate me. Or at least when I was a kid reading up on Halo stuff, that was just something that I could appreciate.
I gotta pee.
You go pee. This is my forte anyway. No.
Your time to shine.
My time to shine. But essentially, what they end up doing is they end up they have the. So if this is the Black Pearl and this is them, as they're sailing away, the Black Pearl is going to come up on their left side. So what essentially they're going to do is they're going to because they know that they're too far this way for them to turn left. So they can't turn left because they're just going to hit the ship, which you don't want because everyone's going to die. So they got to meet them in that combat. But they got to try and see if they can jump on them. So what they end up doing is they end up dropping anchor. And what the anchor is going to do is as soon as it latches onto something strong, that bitch is going to pull. It's going to stay taut. And so when they're going at full speed and they launch that anchor from the very front, it's going to tip that bitch and they're going to Tokyo drift and then bam, they're going to meet on even ground. And they're going to basically get the jump on them. That's the game plan. That's what they're going for. Which is something that I think is super fucking cool. I love it. It's a very dangerous maneuver because it can damage your ship, and it does. And it's a very risky maneuver. And so like, you're daft, lady. You both are. You know? And he's like, daft like Jack. You know? He's essentially playing into it. And so he's like, lower the starboard anchor. Like, do it or you will load into the cannons. You know, add into the pirate jargon. It's nice. It's fun. So they drop the anchor. Ropes flying. It's like it's dragging the anchor. And then cunning Barbosa is looking out. And then he just catches wind. Very, very so slightly. He's like, wait a minute. What the fuck are they doing? It catches that rock. And I mean, that's a catch right there. If you're looking at it. It hits something and it ain't gonna budge at all. Like, that's dunzo. So really what they're hoping for is they're hoping it will catch that rock, and they're going to be they're hoping it will catch something, and they're going to be good to go, and they're just going to club haul all the way down. So yeah, they drop the anchor, it's going, it's dragging across, and then Barbosa, like I said, he catches wind of it, and then boom, look at that. That ain't going anywhere. That is a tight, that's a huge ass rock. That's a big ass rock. Look at that. So that bitch ain't going nowhere. Which is exactly what it needs. And boy howdy, like that tightens it, pulls back some of the wood, and everybody is getting turned around. And one good point that it just showed. What is the time over here? 24:37. You see, as it's pulling it, one of the things that falls because the G-force is going to be the coin, the medallion. The medallion falls over into the bottom and the floor below deck. So good luck finding that. That's not going to be easy. And it's hauling ass. She says, let go. Let the ship do its thing. And it's just flying over there. I love this. Look at this. Look how tight this rope is. It is like they got their guns loaded up. They're ready to go. It's an awesome scene. There's even some poor son of a bitch way up here. I never noticed this. Look, it's a great shot to see it turn. But look, there's just some poor son of a bitch sitting up here.
Wait, what?
Right up here.
Oh yeah, the guy on the guy on the netting.
Yeah. As it's like doing this Tokyo drift, and he says they're club hauling, which I think is cool because it shows that Barbosa is a knowledgeable character, and he's like, I've seen this before. They're club hauling. And he's like, I know what this is. They're trying to get the jump on us. So it's good because it lets you know that he's an experienced sailor. He knows, he's seen this maneuver before. And at this point, I just now notice. Let me drop this. You can barely see it. Look how fucking close they are at this point.
Yeah.
So talk about getting the jump on them. They dropped that anchor like just before it
Yeah.
was time. Like they dropped that anchor right into when they were going to be showing up, really trying to get the jump on them.
Yeah.
Because before it showed them way down the line, right?
Uh-huh.
But they were like, what if we just drop anchor and try and get the jump on them? Boom. See, if I was them
Boom.
though, personally, if this was Assassin's Creed 4, I would have fired the cannons here.
Yeah.
But it's Assassin's Creed, and then the ship combat's a bit different than real life. Because I know that these three guys over here, they're all gonna fucking miss.
Yeah. I mean, it's too thin of a target because you're going to miss like most of your cannon
Exactly.
shots.
However, in Assassin's Creed, you can aim like no one, like, you know, no.
In physically impossible ways.
Yeah, in very physically impossible ways. You can turn them all at like the very ends at like 45-degree angles, which you just couldn't do in real life. But or at least not in an easy time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this was Assassin's Creed, fire now, or fire actually a few seconds ago. But anyway, so they're trying to get the jump on them and be like, you know, boom, club hauling. Look at that. It's just hard to port. Yeah, raise the starboard oars. So they're like, fuck, it's going down, essentially. Raise the starboard oars.
The thing is, it's not like you have to fire all the cannons at the same time.
No.
You can just go down the line.
Yeah, that's true.
Your...
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, Riley.
So yeah, it's not... You could totally, like...
Fire 2 like here, 3 down the line, you know?
Yeah, and as you move across.
And what we get
sort
is...
of like keys on a piano, just sort of like...
Right. So hard to port. Essentially, they were coming up on the port side.
Yeah.
But now they're like, shit, they're club hauling. They're way up on our ass. We need it hard to port. Otherwise, we're going to wreck into them, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't have the battering ram for that shit. So they're hauling it over to the left side. And even Jack's like, shit. And they pull up the oars, that way they can get ready. And then this is a good shot. So you can see it's working. It's caught them off guard. They're getting all the guns ready. And they see the ship coming up. You can see, I like that they included this. You can see where the anchor was placed.
Mm-hmm.
And how they're now probably going to be at a standstill for the most part. So now they're just... I like this because you get these shots of everybody just screaming at each other. Like, ah! And they're like, ah! You're fucking dead. I'm going to kill you. And they just they're giving off all their battle cries, getting ready for the fight. And what ensues, you know, as they prep is one of the... Look at this shot. Oh, man. I like that. With Barbosa just yelling fire.
Yeah.
And you get one of the coolest, like battle, I don't know what you would call this. Coolest ship combat.
Dogfight.
Yeah, I guess a ship dogfight. Nautical dogfight.
Yeah.
It's either way, it's fucking awesome watching these ships go at it. I mean, I don't know how much of it is practical and how much of it is CG, but it's freaking awesome. The sounds and everything. So they're all shouting to fire, and then you just get this still shot, right, of every cannon firing. They're all going ham. People are falling off of ships left and right. You just get boom, boom, all kinds of cannons exploding. And then this little bit where a cannon just nearly misses Jack, and he's like, stop blowing holes in my ship. Like, they're all just gunning after each other. Like, look at that. Look at the chaos of that. So much miss, so much carnage. You even have, like, this one guy falling off of a rope as he was trying to early board, you know? Like,
yeah.
Just all this carnage going on at once. It's awesome to see. And then I love this where it shows... This looks like, I don't know if I think it's a spoon.
I think it's like a spoon, yeah.
That is embedded in that wood. That would go through a man.
Oh, absolutely. You can fire anything out of a cannon. It'll probably kill a guy.
Exactly. Just look at an expression on his face. Like,
is that a fucking spoon?
Like, fucking what?
That's a soup spoon.
That's a soup spoon, and then you have the fucking dude with the fork in his eye. It's just stupid fun.
Yeah,
I love it.
If that fork hit in his eye, how come it didn't like push his eye into his brain?
That is
out the
exactly
side of his
exactly that is a very fair point.
Yeah.
That's exactly true. Normally, it would either have gone through the eye because I think it's a wood eye.
Mm-hmm.
it would have either gone through the eye or it would have embedded in his skull.
Yeah.
That man would be dead.
That man would still be dead. I mean, if he could die, but that man would be dead under normal circumstances.
The only thing that you can maybe play is that maybe it bounced off of some of the wood, slowed down the trajectory, and still lodged in his eye. But that's a stretch. That's it's way a stretch for me.
I mean,
but it's still the comedy side of it though is just is unreal. It is super funny, and also it all makes sense. They were trying to lose and outrun the Black Pearl, which in their minds they still think they can do.
Yeah.
Because they don't necessarily know how fast that ship is. Plus the fact that they're like, oh shit, we just dumped all of our luggage and now we don't have anything. Let's load it up with the forks and knives and everything. And then we get this awesome payoff of just a fork embedded in his eye.
Oh.
And he's looking around with it. And then better yet, he fucking pulls out the eye. And I always get a kick out of that. Then looking off all pissed. And then you just see all of the utensils. Some of them are bent and mangled in here. It's just, it's a very funny shot. It's a very good comic relief to what otherwise would be a very carnage and dangerous sort of situation. So they continue firing. They're just going at it, getting all these beautiful shots of just cannons going off left and right, sparks firing, like wood erupting, all this fun shit, all this awesome stuff. And then Jack looks, he sees Gibbs's flask, and he tries to drink out of it. But here is a payoff from what was set up earlier.
Yeah.
When they're like, my sympathy's friends, it seems like you have no luck at all, and they run away because the cannon went into blew them out of prison, but he was stuck. Well, now the cannonball that went into the ship has now blown off the exit.
It still kept going.
Yeah, it's not going to stop because of a plank of wood, but it blew off the exit. And I was like, oh, look at that. I like that if you notice, this is just a little hint, and that's something I can really appreciate. Like, it's the little details that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you remember Jack ducked, and he ducked close by.
Yeah.
Right? When he gets up to go and open up this door, if you notice them here, but if you look, there are still utensils that are embedded in the wood where they had fired previously. And I'm like, hey, that's a good detail, because they didn't necessarily have to add that into this this ship in particular, or in this image, because it could have been they just happened to have a cannonball.
Yeah.
Entirely reasonable. But no, they actually added more and more trinkets, which was something I thought was cool. So they continue fighting, knocking people into the water. And they're like, we're out of ideas. He's like, we could use some more. And so Gibbs says another kind of, I guess, superstitious line. He's like, we'll give them the devil's dowry.
Yeah.
Right? And she says, we'll give them her, because obviously that's who from her perspective, that's who they wanted in the first place.
Again, dumb bitch. No one cares about Elizabeth.
No one fucking wants Elizabeth.
No one wants that common peace harlot, okay?
Yeah. And Will's like, oh shit, they actually want me. What if I gave myself up? And that's a fair point. And he's like, she's not what they're after. She looks and she's like, the medallion. And he realizes, shit, that's what they're after. That's the leverage of what they've got.
Yeah.
He's like, I need that leverage. So he jumps down, obviously. And he's like, shit, it's full of water, and the table got knocked over. God dang it.
Damn it.
Damn it all. Son of a bitch. And so they're carrying more shit. They're getting ready to fire again. Which, by the way, I do appreciate a little bit, because that's funny. That it shows them reloading. However, I do think there would have been a longer pause in between the cannon fire. It seems to be more consistent than it should be.
Well, the action has to keep going at a desirable pace.
Yeah.
So
one thing I do appreciate is just how clumsy things can happen, even with competent people.
Yeah.
So you see this one pirate who falls and gets strung up by his own ropes, and he's just like shit, and he's trying to strangle his way out of it. So they're getting ready to board, obviously. So they're getting the grapples ready. Will is panicking, looking for what they need, and this is something smart. So Will's panicking. trying to get the medallion. A bit of this is contrivance, but I think it's allowed
Mm-hmm.
in this instance. Normally, when you're attacking a ship and you want to prevent them from escaping, one of the things that obviously the anchors drop, so they wouldn't necessarily be able to escape regardless. But to prevent anything else, you would attack their sails.
Well, that's what those particular cannonballs are designed for.
They're designed,
They're designed to take out sails, because it's basically just two cannonballs connected by a chain. They sort of like spin around, because trying to hit a sail, like a relatively like thin pole of wood, is really hard to do.
Yeah,
with
but
just
this
a cannon.
widens your
widens
range.
so it allows like, and it just like either will hit or wrap around and then yank off.
Yeah, usually
the sail pole.
Yeah, and so they do a great shot, boom, and that's it's a beautiful shot. I want to see if I can actually capture it.
Yeah. It's really smart ingenuity.
See if I can capture it.
Boom.
Yeah, look, completely tears it to shreds.
Yeah.
So that bitch is gone. That sail is gone, and then boom, the concurring explosion knocks Will over. The mast begins to fall, and then I like this Barbosa. It reminds me of the scene from Lord of the Rings when that rock is lodged in Return of the King at the orcs.
Yeah.
And that dude just watches it until he decides to step aside and spits at the rock.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the same thing where the mass is falling, everybody's like running away, and Barbosa just takes a few steps forward. Like, they're all running away, and he's just like, nah, I'm good. Like, he's that experienced and that chill.
Giga Chad move.
Yeah, absolutely. But now, the mass is gone. But it has fallen over something.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll see later on. So Will is like, shit, that sucked. He's like, help. And he starts looking for an exit because he's like, okay, I'm going to start drowning if I don't get out of here. And so now they're all looking for the medallion, including the monkey. Everyone's going to search for the monkey, or not the monkey, the medallion, and try and board.
I do like that monkey, though.
The monkey's awesome. So Will's like, hey, yo, guys, help me out, please.
I'm dying.
I'm going to drown. This is going to be a scene from the Titanic if you don't get me out of here. Like, it's going to be very sad. Titanic, very sad movie.
No.
And so he's literally like taking boards, shoving them up, and he's like, help, please, get me out of here. This is bad news bears. This is no good. This is no bueno.
Wait, was Titanic a sad movie?
Yes.
Was it?
I mean, it
was a story about an old woman, how she recounted the time that she cheated on her husband on a cruise boat.
Oh, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about like everyone else dying.
Oh yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
Everyone else dying because of that harlot woman's adulterous sins. God struck down that cruise ship.
Like what was
with
it?
an iceberg.
Well, it's the stories that I've read about the Titanic that were really sad. Like, I know, what was it? One of them was they I think when they were searching in the Titanic, they found bones of like couples that were cuddling in the bed as it was like that's sad as shit.
Oh yeah,
That's
they saw that
terrible.
like Pompeii too.
Yeah.
Like when the volcano erupted.
Yeah.
They would see like ashen bones of people like grouped together like families, like sleeping and laying together, holding each other.
It's so sad.
While this disaster is happening around them, and they have no.
Reminds
have
me,
no chance
oddly
of
enough,
escape.
reminds me of that Nicolas Cage movie. I don't remember what it was, the name was, but all I remember was one of the last shots of the movie was Nicolas Cage looking out like at a window, turning around, holding his family, and then just explosion, boom, bursting. It was some sort of natural disaster movie, but it comes and just kills all of them.
No, I talked about this movie before.
What movie was it?
It was that Nicolas Cage movie where with the girl who was the Oracle and she saw those numbers.
Oh yeah,
that's the same movie we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think so, but I think it was I think it was called The Knowing or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, Knowing or something. I don't know. Nicolas Cage Knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing.
Yeah, it's a action thriller, something like that. It was basically
Yeah.
like a mystery. Yeah. Uh,
A superbly crafted thriller.
yeah, this is the movie that I was talking about like a couple episodes ago, where it's like, oh yeah, this like oracle, this psychic girl, like she wanted to warn the future about disasters that were going to happen, so she took a bunch of dates, writ down on a piece of paper, and then buried it underground. Which is like, if you want to warn people, don't fucking bury your warnings underground.
No shit. Yeah, but no, I only saw the very end of that movie where literally where everyone died, and I was like,
You want to
oh,
know how that movie ends?
how?
Literal aliens slash angels come down, take two kids, a boy and a girl, and they restart Garden of Eden.
What the fuck?
I think it was supposed to be like a.
That sounds like a Nicolas Cage movie.
It is very much a Nicolas Cage movie, but
Oh man. So I love this because Jack comes up out of nowhere, right? And he's like, well, this seems to be a situation. Grabs on a rope, or no. So there was a pirate that was trying to board.
yeah.
He hits the net, and another guy that was on the ship swings back, and he grabs the rope, and he's like, thanks. Fucking, and then he swings back to his own crew. And I just love Jack's nonchalantness. Knocks a guy back overboard, and he's like, shit, I missed the landing. Come on.
There we go.
And he lands, and everyone's like, Jack. And he gives back the flask and says that it's fucking empty.
I was like, hey, bitch, keep it full next time. Slaps him.
I just love the. I think Jack is one of the. Jack in the first movie is a great example of a chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
He is a pure chaotic neutral. He just comes out of the ship and he's like, oh wow, these people are fighting. Let me just swing back to my team.
Yeah.
Swings back and he fucking lands and everyone's like, oh Jack, it's so good to see you. And he gives him a flask. He's like, it's fucking empty, man. And it's just fantastic. I love everything about it. It's just, he's such a great character. And then Gibbs just throws it aside and he starts going back into the fighting. Will is obviously in a worse situation now. The ship is sinking and it is catching up. It is now at like chest height. And Jack is seeing Elizabeth and she was about to be cut down. He grabs the dude's sword and he's like, you know, hey, that's not very nice to hit a woman. And then she butts him with the fucking butt at the stock.
Yeah.
And he falls into the water. And so they're still going after it. And so Jack obviously is like, hey, I need more leverage.
I'm in the middle of some very sensitive negotiations.
Yes, the negotiations were short.
Yeah.
As Obi-Wan once said. But he's like, I need the medallion because I'm trying to save our skins.
Yeah.
And she's pissed at him and she's like fucking wretched because she knows what he was doing to Will.
God, her fucking donkey teeth. Every scene.
It's not the best time to pause, okay?
Yeah.
She's a very beautiful woman. She's just got very large teeth.
She is all teeth. Her smile is like 99% teeth.
Yeah, my smile.
No gums.
My smile is 50% gums, 50% teeth. That's why I can live with not needing braces because they're over. You know, I would only need braces for my bottom teeth, and whenever I smile, it's like half gum and half top teeth.
Yeah.
No bottom teeth whatsoever.
No, I was like, I shouldn't be so hard on Elizabeth, but it's just like, man, she's got a rough smile.
She does.
Poor girl.
It's rough.
She's a beautiful lady.
Beautiful lady. Very big smile.
And I mean, it's not kind of me to make fun of a woman for her appearance, especially something that she cannot control. But it is funny.
It is very funny. And so she says Rich, and he obviously knows, okay, she's kind of pissed about the Will thing. Speaking of, where's the William? And she's like, oh yeah, shit, he was looking for the medallion. So she looks over and Will's like, oh yeah, hey, help. Jack sees that the monkey has taken the medallion and he's like, monkey, fuck. Runs over to go and grab the monkey because obviously that's what's on his mind. And she's like, hey, you know, Will is stuck and she can't remove obviously this hundreds of pounds of wood.
Yeah.
And Will obviously can't overhead.
I mean, you could have squatted it.
Oh, totally. You know, I mean, deadlift that? Nah, no problem. No problem.
If only they had you on board.
It's like, all right, everybody, get back. Let me get my weight belt on. Let me
Like
strap in
tighten
for
it
this.
all the way
down. And the evil pirates for Barbossa's team end up taking Elizabeth, and she's like, "No, Will," and he's like, "Elizabeth."
Will drowned in that water.
Oh yes. Jack goes to grab the monkey, and it's obviously Barbosa has the monkey and he has the coin, and he's like, "Well, thank you, Jack." Jack says, "You're welcome." And they name the fucking monkey Jack. I think it's funny because the monkey smiles,
Yeah.
like as if he knows. He's like,
Jack is just so insulted.
he's like, "Yeah, I was named after you, bitch. What are you gonna do about it?" And Jack is just like, go
Just squint, just like
It's like
contempt.
He's like, "God, I fucking hate you."
Just like
They hate each other, and I love every minute of it. It's fantastic.
yeah.
But they have the coin, and he says, "Our hope is restored." And Jack's like, "Y'all guys are obviously very cheery about this, even though you don't have Will Turner."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, this is just great for you." So yeah, we have our, when you're here. Now this scene is the only scene in this movie that I fucking hate.
Really?
I hate this scene. It is the most. As Gordon Ramsay would say, the most ridiculous scene in all of this movie. Is absolutely fucking dreadful. Okay? I have not seen a scene in this movie that is as bad as this one.
All right, now do Donald Trump.
This has got to be the worst scene. I don't say it. People tell me they like Trump. Look, this has got to be the worst scene in all of Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't say it. People say it. They tell me. They say, listen, this scene's the worst. Frankly, I agree with them. But anyway, so the main reason why is because this scene does not understand how gunpowder works.
Yeah.
They ignite it, and if you watch, I'll just let the scene play. As dangerous as that is on YouTube, I'm just gonna let the scene play. Look, they ignite it, right? And you saw that going, right? Mm-hmm. Will's over here struggling underneath the water, and it's like, oh no, gunpowder's moving. It's still going. Will's like, oh, I think I found an exit. It's still going. This shot right here, it's like, yeah, it's moving. It's taking its time. Will finds his exit. Yeah, you're right. He's still going. This shot, like, look at it. It's just, it's going. Gunpowder does not take that long to burn.
No,
it is not
it's
a slow.
Very quick.
It is near instant. That is why we use it in. That's why we used to use it in fucking firearms.
Yeah.
It is a very explosive powder. Well, it is extremely explosive.
Okay, so.
Because that's the thing that I think they don't realize is that it is not fiery and sparkly. It is fucking explosive. No, that's why it sends projectiles extremely quickly, because it explodes them outward.
No, it's like you light gunpowder, it's gone in a flash. Like it burns in less than milliseconds.
It is extremely fast.
That's why it's used in explosives, is because it burns really quickly. It creates a lot of pressure and heat and energy very quickly. So, like, if you pull the pin on a grenade, toss it, that gunpowder, or whatever powder they use, black powder.
I think they now have a clear powder.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when that gunpowder ignites, it creates an enormous amount of pressure and energy very quickly. So the shell explodes and sends shrapnel flying at hundreds of miles an hour. Yes, please.
Yes, please. I like the sound of that.
So, that's why, like, if you took a grenade and filled it with, like, oil, it wouldn't work because oil burns slow.
Exactly.
That's why it's used to power cars.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the one main gripe I have of the scene, because there's no fucking way that guy who ignited that gunpowder could get to this ship before that thing exploded. He couldn't even get above deck before that ship exploded.
No, he would have. I mean, first of all, he would have just been on the ship when it blown up, and he would have lived anyway.
Exactly.
It's not like he was in a rush to get out of there.
It would have made more sense as far as this movie is concerned if it instead of cutting to that smoke, that fire burning, if it cut to him. Now I know it's not as tense as far as the movie is concerned with it being like, oh, the smoke's getting closer to the barrels. Oh, it's going to ignite and blow up. Oh no, what's he going to do? Even though if it's blowing up at that speed, it's not actually going to blow up. It's just going to catch on fire. Anyway, if they were doing it right, it would be him loading the barrels, all the gunpowder into that one room, and he'd be cutting back to that. And then at the very end, he'd be standing on top of the deck, throwing a match in onto that fire trail. Because then it'd go boom, and then you'd have your explosion, and he would be knocked off the deck of the ship.
Yeah.
Like, that's how fast it would be. That would be the more accurate way to show that. And that would honestly be kind of badass, showing him flick a match. I don't know if they... Yeah. I honestly don't... I'm pretty sure they had matches back then, but still.
Probably.
Yeah, just light a match, throw it in, and then it would have blown up.
The way they show gunpowder in this scene, it almost acts like thermite, where like it burns, but it burns for like a long time, and it burns incredibly hot.
That's probably what they used.
Yeah, thermite.
Either that or some other concoction, but there's no way that they used real gunpowder for that. They just took some sort of powder, painted it black, and lit it on fire. Because even after that, as it's burning, he goes this whole line. He's like, any of you... I do like this line, though. When he's holding them hostage. He's like, if any of you so as thinks the word parlay, I'll have your guts for garters.
Okay.
He's like, if any of you fucking say this word, I will shoot you on the spot. He's sick of that line. He's sick of that shit. And Barbossa's just contemplating. He's like, I've got the gold, but I still need the name.
Now who is it?
Now who be the Turner that I'm looking for? And he actually finds that parlay line of music.
Wow, that rope was not secured tightly at all.
Oh, no.
She basically just lifted it over her head and walked away.
The thing that does bug, you can almost, it looks like they sped it up and you can see it blurred.
Yeah.
Because it looks really affected. It looks like it's been digitized in some way. Right. I don't know why, but even when I was a kid, I noticed this. So just look at her. Watch this. Look. Like, it looks...
like it was sped up.
Like it was sped up or something. So maybe she did struggle, and they're like, we can't show this in post. What are you doing? Yeah. So let me show y'all guys the audience.
Kira, it took you 17 seconds to get out of this rope. We gotta get snappy with it. Get better.
Yeah, be better, Keira Knightley. Gosh,
you'll never be Natalie Portman. Just scream that in her face.
Do you think? I feel like that would be definitely something that she fears. Honestly,
like you just see her like stifle like a single tear that rolls down her cheek.
It's so sad and tragic.
And she just like walks away trying to save face. Keira Knightley, if you're even watching this episode, why? But also, we would like to do a fan meetup. We are a fan of your work.
Absolutely.
We would love to talk about like your time on the pirate set.
I loved the Swan.
The Swan.
Or Black Swan. That's what it's fucking called.
Oh, I got it.
I'm glad you got it.
Oh, I loved your part in the Thor movies.
I loved it when you were Star Wars.
that one actually is true.
Yeah.
But she was a body double for Natalie Portman. I loved your scene in The Professional when you played that kid. I thought that was really brilliant acting. And then we go up to Natalie Portman. I loved you in the Pirates movies.
Dude, that's have to have happened at least once.
I would love to meet Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman one day, just so I can purposefully confuse the two.
That would be fantastic. You know, her own grandma or her own mom did that.
Yeah, they were indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, watched. I mean, of course you.
Yeah, look at the actual film. It was like when they were when she was dressed up in the queen's outfit, like they were shockingly similar.
Well,
They were basically doppelgangers.
I dare anybody to like watch the entire movie and tell me exactly which scenes were Kira and which scenes were Natalie. And if you could do it with accuracy, we'll
Props
invite
to
you
you.
on. We'll invite you on the show.
We'll invite you on the show, at least for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this this cut real quick, just so y'all guys can see. Look at that. I don't know about you, but that little cut in particular just gives me that like this has been edited vibe.
Mm.
Even though he's pointing a gun at Gibbs.
Yeah.
So Gibbs is now dead. No, I'm kidding. But the explosion is nice. The explosion looks practical and good. Stops her in her tracks. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking that she was gonna do.
Yeah.
I guess she was gonna be like,
She was gonna outrun that gunpowder.
I'm gonna jump in and save Will while they've ignited the gunpowder.
I mean, granted, she probably didn't know that there was gunpowder being
Probably.
ignited.
Probably. She was probably just
probably
gonna be like,
thought-
I'm just gonna jump ship.
Yeah.
But it blows up, and she's like horrified that Will is fucking dead.
Fucking dead.
He is dead as a doornail. And I like that, you godless pirate. Like she's pissed. Again, it just cuts back to Jack, pirate.
Yeah. I would love it. It's like, you godless pirate, repent for your sins and be baptized in this ocean. And she like pulls out a Bible and a rosary.
You see, the Bible is more, as we call, guidelines than actual rules. And then he's like, "Oh, welcome back." And this is when he goes full pirate, full evil.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Welcome back. You know, you took advantage of our hospitality last time. It holds fair now that you return the favor." And he essentially is like, as an adult, you're like, "Yep, they're gonna
now they're definitely gonna rape her
definitely gonna rape her."
with their cold, lifeless, unfeeling bodies.
Yep.
I was like, we won't feel anything, but you will.
That's so terrible.
It's horrifying,
That's
Jeremy.
horrifying.
It's horrifying.
Fucking awful. Holy shit.
Yeah. Go
I
take a cold shower after that and feel clean.
I lost like a 16th of my soul to that.
Yeah. I'm just drying up all the pussies in the audience right now. That's all I'm doing.
Oh man. Not even the spray of the sea can wet that. Oh, man.
Gross salt water on your vagina.
Oh,
Ladies, describe how much that, like, because if I had a vagina, the thought of like salt water splashing it would like clamp me tight like a jewelry box. I would just snap shut.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments.
What is this recording? I fucking love it. This has been a
There's
great
a lot of
podcast.
audience participation in this
It
one.
really is. I really enjoy this one. It's great for the new year. Eventually we'll finish Pirates.
Yeah. You know,
Made some good progress. We got through that fight scene
we're
relatively
gonna,
quickly.
you know, we're just getting all of our sins out
We've
before
only-
the new year, and we become better people.
When do we start? 117. What? We're 15 minutes in ish.
15 minutes in. How much is the recording going?
We still have like an hour.
Oh yeah, let's keep it going.
We're making good
We're
progress.
doing
We're
good
doing
time.
better this time, guys.
Yeah.
And we're getting procedurally more drunk. Look at that. Wow.
I think it's the
Look at that.
booze. Yeah,
Between
look
the
at
two.
us. Between the two of us. I mean, this is only like my third glass, so it's not like I'm knocking.
Oh
the
no,
back like crazy.
it's mostly me.
Yeah. Jeremy's the real alcoholic.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's ruining my marriage.
No, to be fair though, I think honestly the only times I get drunk or if Jace comes over, which
Jace is
isn't
the
often,
biggest drunk out of us all.
which isn't often. If Jace comes over or if it's our podcast.
Yeah.
That's really the only times I like to drink.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like, you know what? I had my fill on Friday.
Yeah, because I never drink by myself.
Yeah.
I only drink with friends.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which is why I have friends over.
Every day.
I remember my brother was telling me it was like when he realized his friend was an alcoholic and we were like. And we're like, when did you realize? What did you tell him? He was like, oh, you know, when I realized he was drinking beer in the shower, I realized he had a problem.
Yeah, that's you're in the trenches at that point.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you've gone too far.
Yeah. That's just like my life is already falling apart.
So they basically throw her to the wolves.
Yeah.
And they are ready to go home. Oddly enough, they go for the hair.
Well, I mean, it's just like, we haven't felt anything in a long time. All of this just feels the same to us.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you grab.
Imagine that if I could just see the awkward scene where it's like, ow, ow, hair. You know, where they're like, they got like a knot or something, like, oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Oops. But then, boom, Will comes out, and I like this because Will shows up.
He
And
shows up just to see Elizabeth getting fucking a train ran on her. That's what he walks into.
now, in all honesty, with this scene, I do like it because the music swells and it has the pirate theme build. It's really heroic. Although that gunpowder scene still irks me.
Yeah.
I'm still like, stop, cringe. You know, but him coming up and is like bum 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 bum. I'm just like, fuck yeah, Will.
Yeah.
Because he does the whole hero moment. Like, this is his hero moment because he jumps up and he's like, Barbosa, and Barbossa's looking off and he's like, that son of a bitch. And Will looks and Elizabeth looks and she's like, Will, you know, everybody's looking like, it's this hero. Like, this is Will's moment to shine.
Yeah.
Right. And he grabs the gun off the deck and he's like, she goes free. Like, it's like a super.
I love Barbossa's face.
Yeah.
He's like, are you fucking serious, mate?
Yeah, it just turns fucking Irish.
Just like, ugh.
Oh, you're serious with me now, mate? But because he has the whole. Now, actually, I never noticed that.
What are you looking at?
That is a flaw.
Yeah?
That's the ship.
Well, yeah.
But Will came from the other side.
I guess so.
I mean, here's
Maybe,
okay. Here's the thing.
I mean, it's like,
Either because that wouldn't necessarily be natural for Will to swim to the opposite side of the ship.
I mean, I wouldn't put it. I personally would not swim around a ship just to end up on the other side. I would have just climbed up the side that I was swimming to.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe that's an issue. Maybe it's not. I don't know. All I know is that, like, either he came up way early, peeked up, and he's like, "Oh shit, everybody's on this side. Let me get over to the other side."
You know, that would be a fun little Easter egg if, like, in the middle of all of this, like, ruckus, you see, like, a background shot of Will peeking over.
Yeah, but we'll be honest. I'll admit it. For as good of a movie this is, that is a bit of a weird that he didn't
That is
like
weird.
that he didn't do a
That, like,
beeline.
Logically, he would have had to swim all the way around the ship to end up on the other side.
But at least now we know.
That is strange.
That is
But-
a good note.
I mean, to be fair, they're probably that's just a green screen, maybe.
Yeah, and so the music's building and he's like, you know, what's in your head, boy?
A
And
bullet.
and then he's like, she goes free, and like it's cool that Will gets his hero moment.
Yeah. He finally grew a pair.
Although it is kind of subverted, in a sense, after this. So as a kid, this is one of the scenes that made me really like Will Turner, aside from the fact that he's a blacksmith, because I'm just like, you know, it's cool that he's like, he survived that explosion.
Yeah.
And he's like, she goes free. And I'm like, that's cool. Be a hero. And everyone's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And he's like, she goes free. It's cool that he's so demanding and that he's like, he's willing to lay it all out to save her. Like, it really shows how much he loves Elizabeth at this point.
Big dick energy moment.
Big dick energy moment. And Barbosa, well, here's where it starts to calm down. He's like, you've only got one shot, and we can't die, which is a fair point. But Will is a bit. It's funny because Will is smart enough to realize what his leverage is.
Yeah.
But he's dumb in the way that he points it out.
Yeah.
Because it's very funny because we as the audience understand this. Like, Will understands he is the leverage.
We know that Will is the leverage.
Will knows that he is the leverage as well. But the pirates don't.
Yeah.
It's just Will. So he straight up goes, Jack goes, don't do anything fucking stupid.
Yeah, they're just looking for a person with the last name Turner.
They don't know.
They have not been introduced to Will at all at this point.
None at all. And so Will's like, gets up on the deck. You can't. I can. It's like.
And everyone is just like, why would you blow your brains out?
Who the fuck are you?
Like, what? Why?
Yeah, and Elizabeth is obviously torn by this. She's like, don't fucking blow your head off. She's upset. And I like that Jack is just like that. He's like, okay, cringe.
He's like, This is the biggest event of cringe I've seen since 2001.
Oh man, so Jack's a bit cringe. He's like, that's cringe.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they don't realize yet, Will. You gotta lay that out better. Like Barbosa cuts to the point. He's just looking at it. He's like,
Who the fuck are you?
who are you? He's like, what the fuck makes you so special?
I was like, you can't die, but I can. And then everyone's just like, why would we care? First of all, why would you even do that? Why would you do? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Yeah, exactly, the JonTron meme. It's like you can, but why?
Why?
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Okay, great. He's like, why are you? And then Jack is like, oh shit, if he spills the beans, I'm going to lose my leverage. And so he jumps in, he's like, no one, he's fucking no one. Just a cousin of an aunt's nephew, twice removed. Lovely singing voice, eunuch though. like that he adds in the eunuch because he's so
back from earlier.
He's so certain from the fight at the blacksmith shop that he's like,
you're definitely a eunuch.
He's a eunuch. He doesn't want to bang women. What the fuck is up with that? He wants one woman. I mean, come on.
He's got no bitches and clearly not jerking off enough because this guy spends 3 hours a day practicing swords and making them.
This guy needs to go to talk like Pimp Daddy Purple or some shit.
Yeah, somebody, just anybody.
Really.
Go down to the local whorehouse.
Yeah, but then Will finally spills the beans and he's like, my name is Will Turner. My father was Bootstrap Bill Turner. And Barbossa's like, this was the fucker that obviously Jack was trying to leverage against.
I like how they're still petting Elizabeth in the background.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Like Kira's just standing in like a cocktail of men just being patted and held.
Oh man. And he's like, his blood runs my... And Jack is so defeated. He's like, well, there goes that one.
Yeah, awesome. Maybe they'll maroon me on a different island this time.
Maybe they'll actually give me 2 guns so I can at least shoot you, Will.
I was like, if they gave Jack 2 guns, he would shoot Will twice.
Yeah. And then what's his face with the singular eye and the glass or wood eye. He's like, he's the spitting image of old Bootstrap Bill. You know, come back to haunt us. Now, as a kid, after seeing what's it called? After seeing Dead Man's Chest.
Sorry, I just have to rewind a little bit. Can I just click this arrow right here?
You should be able to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will back it up 10 seconds.
10 seconds, where it's like, just earlier we saw, like, Elizabeth right here, pause, they're just holding her, like, around the waist, like, they just sort of have, like, their hand on her head, just sort of, like, petting her, almost like they're almost, like, coddling her.
Almost,
a little bit. And then he's like, we got, like, the scene, he's like, that's Bill, yeah, and now she's, like, struggling, like, guys, like 5 seconds ago, we just saw you guys like in idle animation.
Yeah, and also it was only one guy. Yeah. It was this guy, but now there's like 4 other dudes joining the party.
Yeah, it's just like I know that I saw Elizabeth just sort of like standing, not really putting up a fight, just sort of like an idle animation with like the other guys holding her.
Yeah, but it's. Oh man, I forgot where I was going to go with that. Yeah. So it was definitely a nitpick, I'll be honest. But as a kid watching Dead Man's Chest and you know, At World's End and whatnot, seeing who they cast as Bootstrap Bill, who by the way is a fantastic actor. Yeah. He's actually in Andor. He's a great actor. I can't remember his name. I'll be honest. See, did
Andy Serkis play him?
No, it wasn't Andy Serkis.
That would have been good.
Yeah, he would have been good. He would have been good.
Andor.
I believe his name was Luthen. Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh.
He plays Bootstrap Bill. Now, as a kid,
Stellan Skarsgård. Wait, what? I recognize that face. What other credits has he had?
Let's see. Let's see.
Isn't that the guy who plays like Natalie Portman's dad in Thor?
No. He's a coworker in the Thor movies.
Oh yeah, he's a co.
Yeah. He's in
something
Age of
else.
Ultron, and he's in
yeah.
he's in Avengers, I believe.
Right, that's who plays Bootstrap Bill.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Huh.
As I was watching it, as a kid, like I said, super nitpick, but I was like, he doesn't look like Will Turner. He looks nothing like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a super nitpick, but I was, as a kid, I was just like, he doesn't look like Orlando Bloom.
It would have been great if they just got Orlando Bloom's dad.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. If Orlando Bloom's dad is a good actor, but Stellan, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah,
Great actor, especially in Andor. There's a monologue that he does later on that we've got to watch, and
I'm trying to think of
him in Andor or just in other movies.
I'm trying to think if I remember him in Andor from what little I've seen.
He was not very very vital in the first 3 episodes, which is what you've seen. But you'll recognize his look. This was him in Andor. He was the buyer.
Yeah.
That was coming to buy the Star Path unit.
I remember him, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
there you go.
He was a very serious deadpan guy. He was like,
yeah. Oh my God, there's a monologue where it's like where one of the guys asks what you've sacrificed and he fucking kills it. It's a fantastic. I'll let you. You'll gotta watch it because it's a. We should honestly we should watch it after this. We still got about I think 30 minutes before we need to wrap up. Because wife's got to work in the morning.
Yeah. We still have an half hour. Let's keep it going.
But yeah, we'll watch that after this. So yeah, come back to Han. It's a bit of a nitpick for me on my end, but he's like, on my word, do as I say, or I'll pull this trigger and be lost to Davy Jones' locker. Good play, honestly, by Will's point of view.
Not bad.
He's like, hey, look, do what the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll kill myself. It's just like, shit, man.
And Elizabeth's just like, no, I never got to feel you in me.
I never got to feel those blacksmith hands. The raw tenderness.
God, can you imagine, how busted those, walnut knuckles must be on those blacksmith hands? Oh, man. How many
calluses. The
calluses.
The calluses.
The accidental, grazes with the hammer on your fingertips.
Ooh, yeah. The bruises, on the fingertips and the calluses all throughout. The burns.
The amount of times you accidentally, grabbed hot coals or metal.
Exactly. Oh, shit. We're good. But
yeah, that would feel good on your vagina, right, ladies?
I mean, it's weird because from one point of view, as far as a feeling goes, no, but from a sensation, from a thought-provoking point of view, maybe. You know, it's it's so rough, but that's what I want, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's more a mental thing.
I've never been female before, Jeremy.
That's true.
I can't say.
But you can always switch genders.
You know what? For 4 years, I'm gonna start going on HRT just so I can give you honest answers to these questions. I'm gonna get some surgeries.
And I'll get on gear so I can tell you what steroids is like. No, it's just that line from Harry Potter where it's just like, I'm just so angry all the time.
Oh. And that's gonna be when the shipping fan fiction really starts.
Oh yeah, Riley's on HRT and I'm on gear.
Yeah, buff roid rage dominant daddy with his submissive trans girlfriend.
Jesus Christ!
But I'm still a power bottom in this story.
Motherfucker rocks the boat. Anyway, back to the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Back to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Now that we gave you guys all the ammo you need.
You can tell we're progressively getting more intoxicated as the night goes on.
Yeah.
And Barbosa makes the good claim because Barbosa, as we've seen previously, which is a good setup, he's smart and he knows he's basically like the world's worst lawyer in the fact that he's like, you never said that,
Yeah.
Sort of guy, right? And so he starts playing his lawyer side where he's like, name your terms, Mr. Turner. And he's like, Elizabeth goes free. And he's like, yes, we know that one.
Anything
And that I think is hilarious because,
yeah.
It begins in the awesome heroic moment where it's like, she goes free, in this awesome moment. But as it keeps going on, it's like, what's your terms, Mr. Turner? He's like, Elizabeth goes free. He's like, yes, we fucking get it.
Yeah. All right, you got a big hard on with this lady, but like, let's get to the end of this.
Let's keep going because I think it's great because he says it with such passion.
Yeah.
He's like, name your terms. He's like, Elizabeth goes free. It's like, yes, we get
get it, dude.
We know.
All right.
What else?
Tuck it into your waistband. Jeez.
It's like anything else. And Jack is like, hey, I go free too.
Hey, dude, come on.
Get us the fuck out of here. And he's like, in the crew are not to be harmed, which includes Jack. And Jack's like, that's all you got?
Dude, you fucking bashed me, you bludgeoned me with a boat oar and then left me to these people while you got away scot-free with the medallion and your girl. Like, does a dog get a bone at least?
Exactly. And then that's all. And Barbosa, because there's a pause, right?
Yeah.
Will has laid out his terms, and Barbosa walks up, and he's like, I agree. Agreed. And then it cuts to an island. A very familiar island to some, you could say.
It's not a bad looking island.
No, it's actually it's quite luscious.
It's very small, but lots of green.
Lots of green. And then look, there's still the mist around the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
It carries it everywhere.
And they're like, go puppet, walk the plank. They're literally making her walk the plank, which I like because it's like they're really adding in all of the pirate tropes.
That's the thing, is history buffs, is there any historical basis to the whole walking the plank trope?
There is.
Is there?
Yes. Whenever you're banishing someone, you can walk them like to the plank. Essentially what it is you're basically wanting to kill them. You would walk them to the plank either an island or just off the fucking ship.
Yeah.
Essentially, if it's essentially a symbolic way of throwing someone overboard.
Okay.
When they're like, you have caused us so much issue, you are such a detriment to our team that it is better not to have you and have you dead than to have you on our thing. Or they would do that to as far as I'm aware, enemies. Like enemies that you've captured. It's like, we got all of our info from you, walk the plank, we're gonna cast you off.
I would just
it's a very symbolic gesture rather than just throwing somebody off.
Okay, knowing that is real and has historical basis, it has been a fantasy of mine to be the guy in like 1700s pirate era where I'm the guy who walks the plank and then does a sick swan dive right over it just to give them a show while they like lead me to my death.
Here we go. Despite the likely rarity of the practice in actual history, walking the plank entered popular myth and folklore via depictions in popular literature. So it is more of a mythos than in folklore versus actual things that they did.
I guess so.
But, hence the reason why I called it more ceremonial. It's not necessarily a thing that they would do all of the.
Yeah, because it's
is that who the fuck I think it is?
Well, I can.
Sorry, I had a Let me bring this up for you guys. I had a book when I was a kid, a pirate book, because I was very invested in that stuff, and this is very familiar to one of the pirates, but I can't remember who the fuck it was. It's at my parents' house, so I can't look at it. Fuck.
Well,
I can't remember which pirate it was, but he had the similar red robes and that similar black hat, and I can't remember who the hell it was. But anyway,
you're going to your parents for New Year, so you'll be able to find it there.
Yeah. But either way, it's very familiar. Awfully, that's funny. It calls back some core memories, and I'm like, But anyway, funny enough, that pirate book actually had some pictures from Pirates of the Caribbean in it because that was when it had came out recently.
Oh, okay.
So it was interesting.
Very neat.
How many people survived walking? No.
Oh, okay, so it's like
Stede Bonnet. No, Stede Bonnet wouldn't make people walk the plank.
despite being a favorite form of execution with later pirate fiction writers, there is no historical record of anyone ever having walked a plank in the golden age of piracy.
I like how they show the Stede Bonnet from fucking Pirates, like Assassin's Creed.
Black Flag,
Yeah.
Wasn't he just a merchant in that game?
Yes. Well, yeah, because Stede Bonnet was the he was the polite pirate.
You're right.
That's what he was known as. In fact, I think he was mutinied by the end of it.
Really?
Because they didn't think that he had the guts.
He didn't have the balls.
Yeah, for piracy.
Poor guy.
But allegedly, for the amusement of perpetrators and psychological torture of the victims, captives were bound so they could not swim or tread water and forced to walk a wooden plank or beam extended over the side of a ship. So it's very alleged.
Okay.
But I mean, you're not gonna have a lot of. I don't think you're gonna have a lot of record history over that, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, even if it did happen, it's not like pirates were writing that shit down all the time.
Yeah. Who was first to walk the plank?
Riley Walton back in
Was Charles Elms in an American Boy's storybook. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's funny. That's funny. And the very first time walking the plank was mentioned was in 1837 by Charles Elms in an American Boy's storybook, the pirate's own book. Elms claimed that the American amateur pirate Stede Bonnet made his enemies walk the plank. That's funny.
Okay.
That's funny.
Okay.
So it's definitely more of a folklore
it's
sort of
like,
thing.
There's so much folklore and mythos surrounding pirates that everyone just sort of like takes bits and pieces and builds and embellishes over it.
Right. Thus walking the plank.
Yeah.
Which honestly, in this sense, makes way more sense. They make the folklore make sense. Which is something I find cool. So Will looks at Barbossa, and he's like, "Barbossa, you lying bastard!"
You tricked me.
Which, by the way, English people versus us American culture, in English culture, calling someone a bastard is like one of the one of the worst things you can call someone.
Which is rich coming from you, Will.
Yeah. He's like, "You swore she'd go free," and then Barbossa has to pull the lawyer on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Don't." I like this line. Because he's a fucking pirate.
Yeah.
Right? He's the scum of the earth, but he's like, "Don't dare impugn me honor, boy."
It's like, I may be a scoundrel and a thief, but I'm no liar.
He's like, "I'd agree she'd go free, but it was you who never specified when nor where." And everyone's laughing because, like, haha, he's smart.
Yeah.
So he kind of pulls the lawyer where he's like, "You never had it in writing."
I don't remember signing a contract, bitch boy.
And so they tie him up and shit. I actually think they feel his chest more than they do Elizabeth's.
Yeah, honestly, there's like...
As if she...
Damn, you work out?
As if she had one. Anyway.
It was like, I don't know, Will was about to cream his jeans when he thought he was going to touch a titty, only to realize that Keira Knightley has no titties. We've been body shaming Keira Knightley a lot.
We
this
really
episode.
have been. I'm so
You can
sorry.
tell that we're drunk. Keira Knightley, if you're watching this, you're a beautiful woman.
We love you.
Do not...
You're fantastic.
You're an excellent actress and you're a beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
I don't know why you'd be watching the show or why you'd care why two dumb idiots who've never met you would be commenting on your
But we
figure.
think you're great.
We think you're great, truly.
Absolutely.
This is all just jokes.
Yes, this is all in satire, as it were. I do. I love this freaking shade that Barbossa tosses Elizabeth, though. This line is freaking fantastic. It's good. It's good. Good. It's a good burn.
Yeah.
It's like a good, like 212-degree burn. You know what I mean? Like it's good. So he's like, "Though it does seem a shame to lose something so fine, So he's like, "Don't it, lads?" So obviously you would think, "Oh man, it's so sad to see this hot, like spanky woman go." you know, and
Give us back my coat.
he's like, so I'll be having that dress back before you go. It's such a good burn.
That's a sick burn. He's like, man, that's a shame to let something so gorgeous and elegant go. I want my fucking dress back. Which is, hilariously enough, where did he get that dress? And why does he have it?
You know, honestly, that's a fantastic
I've
question.
seen no women on his crew.
No,
And
no.
it was in his
It's
quarters.
it's bad luck.
It was in his quarters.
Do you think it was like a bride?
No, maybe it was Calypso's dress.
Calypso.
Yeah, she also has no tits.
No. Calypso loved Davy Jones.
Oh, that's
But maybe
right.
she had a thing for Barbosa too. I don't give a fuck.
I mean,
I don't fucking know. Calypso's Calypso. That was her whole line in Davy Jones or in at World's End, where she was like, you know, I'm a free spirit. I have to just do whatever I want.
I'm a strong, independent black woman who don't need no man. Who don't need no fucking squid-faced man.
We must consume more alcohol.
Yeah. Anyway, Barbosa had a dress
Yes,
in his quarters.
and it fit her perfectly.
Yeah,
It was it was a pretty nice dress.
it was an elegant dress. It was lovely.
I like it.
I would dress a lady in such attire.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's nice.
Yeah.
And anyway, she undressed. And she undressed. I actually really like the collars around the chest area. That was actually really sweet. He throws it back over to her, and he goes, "It goes with your black heart." And I'm like, "That's a good line."
Yeah.
And this is good too, because obviously he can't feel anything, but he's trying to play into the into, I guess, the pirate role, in the sense of like of the perversion
I
that the
guess
pirates hold.
Yeah.
Because he feels it, right? And he's like, "Ooh, it's still warm," and he tosses it back to his mates, right? So obviously it's trying to, pirates are incredibly, they're far out from that sea, from that
that
beach.
is at least like
That's
a quarter mile.
That's a bit. That was further out than they were before,
Yeah.
I would allege. So they're walking out and they're like, "Go on." I like this because she's taking her time, right? You
Yeah.
know, she's looking out at Will and everything. You know, not sure what to do. And he's like, "Too long," and fucking kicks it, and then she flies off. I find that incredibly funny. Also, I just want to note, because I just saw this, when she falls. This dude is really into Will.
This is how my second gay encounter went.
look at that! Look at that fucking face. He's like,
yeah. Yeah. It's like, the first gay encounter was the scene at the bar. This is my second gay encounter. Like, gagged at the mouth and a lot closer.
There's actually a finger in his bunghole.
Yeah.
Like,
There's like a finger in his ass.
that's
now.
actually
That's
what
the
the
wide-eye
expression-
expression right there. He's just like, all right, first knuckle. Come on, I think I can take two.
oh God, this is terrible. This is a terrible podcast. And I like how Jack is laughing essentially with the boys until they push him too, and he's like, whoa. I'd rather hope we were past all of this. And then Barbossa's like, "Jack, buddy, my old buddy, old pal, old friend,
My hombre.
Jack.
Hermano.
Did you not notice, that this is the same island that we made you governor of on our last little trip?" And Jack's like, I did notice, actually. It's like, perhaps you'll be able to conjure up another miraculous escape. Which is really funny as a setup from our perspective. Because as far as we know, Jack literally conjured creatures from the void.
Yeah.
That were acclimated to his presence. He was a legendary figure. Was able to strap, these sea turtles together with rope made from his back hair.
Wow, that is a dumb fucking story when you say it out loud. That
terrible.
is super terrible. That's not even a good lie.
It's a raft, and he made it with that. He's a legendary figure, and now he's going back on the same island. Will he be able to make the same escape? We shall see. which is it's really funny later on.
Yeah.
I love the scene when Barbosa sees him and it's like it's not possible.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's so fantastic.
Miracles, I guess miracles do strike twice.
Fool me once, shame on me. But he's like, but I doubt it. And then off you go. And Jack tries to make a play because he's obviously he is a more cunning character. So he's going to try and make some plays. He's like, last time you left me a pistol with one shot. He's like, last time you left me a pistol. And Barbossa's like, by the powers, you're right. Where be Jack's pistol? Bring it forward. You know, so they give him Jack's, not only his pistol, but it looks like his sword and effects, essentially. And he's like, seeing as it's two of us, a gentleman. Because one thing I noticed that whenever Jack tries to play to Barbossa, he uses big words.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows Barbossa likes vocabulary.
Yeah.
So he's like, a gentleman will give us a pair of pistols.
Yeah, one for Elizabeth.
Exactly. He's like, so I can kill the bitch.
Yeah, so I can kill her and eat her.
And he's like, and Barbossa goes, it'll be one pistol as before, and you can be the gentleman and shoot the lady. Starve to death yourself. So it's a good line, good clapback. And Jack's like, fuck, if I don't grab let me get that little shot. See, 46. It's good when Jack looks down at the water. I like this expression on Johnny Depp's face. So he tosses the pistol.
He's like, fuck.
And Jack has come to a decision. He's like, I can either continue to argue or I will lose my pistol and my sword forever.
Yeah.
Because it's the lower it sinks, the harder it's going to be to find.
He's got to go after that pistol, man.
He's like, I've got to go after it now, otherwise I could lose it.
He still believes that he can shoot Barbossa in the fucking face.
Yeah, that he can shoot Barbossa and kill him. So he has to make the decision, either continue to play, or I've got to jump after this. And he makes the decision.
Know when
he's
to
like,
hold him.
He decides to make the jump.
When to fold him.
He decides to make the jump and dive into the water to go and grab, which I like the school of fish that's right here.
Yeah.
It adds to like the nature and wildlife of the ocean.
Because every time there's like an ocean scene in movies, it's always fucking empty.
It is. It's so dull.
What's up with that?
Which, by the way, it also included his compass. I just saw. He has his compass. He has his sword. He has all of his effects.
See, this looks like they actually shot it in the water.
Which I'm pretty sure they did.
I'm sure. I mean, it'd be hard to replicate.
I
God,
do.
They swam like a quarter mile really fast.
They did. I
He
do
was,
like
not far behind her.
I do like this little thing that Jack throws like a quasi small anchor onto the land. Like he's like, land ho, as they swim up. And then he looks out at the ship fucking yet again. Again.
God.
And he's like, that is the second time I've watched that man sail away with my ship. It's like, fucking hell. Again, like, no chest. No.
He's like, well, let's have sex.
He's like, let's bang. We got nothing else going for us.
Well, we're gonna die, and I'm not dying.
And you see him, he's so determined. He's like, hold on. She's like, we can escape in the same way. And he's like, to what purpose, young Missy? Well, to what point in purpose? Because he's like, at this point, he spent 10 years trying to find a way to conjure an ability to get his Black Pearl back, which was Will Turner. He's lost that playing card. They have him. He's like, so what the fuck is the point anymore, Elizabeth? They're gonna get Will. They're gonna get back to Black Pearl. They're gonna relieve the curse. I have nothing left. Yeah. He's like, it's all gone. Everything is gone. I've lost all of my leverage. I'm marooned on the island again. He's like, and now I am stuck with your punky ass bitch.
So you better do some fucking good and take your clothes off. And maybe our last moments will not be so horrible.
Exactly. He's like, the Black Pearl is gone. He's like, unless you have a lot of sales hidden under that bonus. Unlikely. He's like, young Mr. Turner will be dead long before you can reach him. So he's appealing to her. He's like, look, he's going to be dead before you even have a fucking chance to get to him. Like, he has lost all hope. It's all gone. And so he's knocking on shit, and he's like, She's like, but you're Captain Jack Sparrow. You vanished from under the eyes of 7 agents of the East India Trading Company, which is a line that will be important in the later movies.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you sacked Nassau Port without a shot, which is important to any Assassin's Creed fans because they're like, I know Nassau.
Nassau was a fucking fortress.
And Nassau was an absolute fortress. Without a shot. Are you the pirate I've read about or not? Which is important.
Which
too.
is, okay, she said read about. Which means
Exactly.
people have written stories about Jack.
Truly. It is very true in that sense. Let me see if I want to lower this.
He's famous enough to be written about.
I want to lower this opacity on this one to 50. That works. Yeah. So, and not only that, but she's read about him. That's what that's all she knows about Jack Sparrow is what she's read. She's read all of the legendary tales.
She doesn't know the man.
Yeah, she only knows the myth.
Mm-hmm.
The legend.
Like, imagine, like, try to think back of, like 2014 when you first met me. Like, the first 3 months of knowing
I
me.
only knew the myth and the legend.
Exactly. And
Which
then
was,
you met me.
Which was Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was Tyler Durden.
They were all right. All the myths were right.
Because I shit you not, when me and Riley first met, I was a very insecure young boy, and he was a strapping and handsome young lad. And the first thing,
With all the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
yeah, and sorry, I just realized what that was fucking from. Holy shit, I didn't know you knew about that meme.
No, I did know about it.
That's fucking hilarious. But one of the first things Riley told me was how to make dynamite, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna be friends. Cause I can't remember what it was, but you had told me the comment. It was one of the lines from Fight Club, but you had told me the way to make napalm.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I think we're gonna be friends.
Cool.
And then from that we filmed a really shitty fight scene in film class, and then the rest was history.
Yeah. And now here we are.
Now here we are. Dude, I never would have thought, man, when I walked into that room, I saw no friends, and then I saw a guy that I half knew. And I was like, this guy, because you were sitting in the very corner of it was the very front row, I guess you could say, when you walk into the room, right next to one of the pillars. And I was like, out of all the people here, I don't know any of you, but I know this guy is like okay with a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat next to you, and then you became my best friend.
Isn't that life is funny that way?
Life is very funny that way. And it's fun. It's great because, man, I'm so glad I met you. It's been fantastic.
How different do you think your life would be if I didn't take that
I
class
would
that
have
semester?
done so much less.
I would not. You wouldn't own this house.
No. At this point, no. But like, it steered my life in a direction, and I still remember it. Like, I remember looking at you and being like, that guy. Like, it's one of those things that you never think you would remember. But I remember like looking down and looking at you, and I'm like, well, I guess I fucking know him, so I want to go sit with him.
I was like, you're all strangers. I kind of know this guy.
So
that's a girl that I have a crush on.
So I might as well sit with them.
Yeah.
And then the rest was history.
Yeah. Man, I was mean as hell to Savannah.
She has a baby now.
She has a baby? She is a mother.
Yeah.
Man, I was an asshole to her.
Oh, man.
It was really funny.
I get Facebook posts all the time of her with her baby, and I'm like, damn it, I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah. You know, man, Savannah, if you're watching these episodes for any reason at all, I don't apologize. Fuck you.
We miss you.
Essentially. Miss you, sweetheart. You were an absolute princess.
It was honestly that was the absolute original trio.
Yeah,
that was
Savannah,
freshman year of
me.
high. That was
freshman year.
Freshman year of high school. Us three.
It was you and me and whatever punching bag we had at the time.
Whether it be Savannah, Steven,
Jace, anyone really.
It's just me, Riley, and a punching bag.
Just someone that we can take our childhood out on.
All of our problems, all of our insecurities, we just dump them as insults into another human being.
Yeah. It's just me, Jeremy, and a lightning rod. Someone make fan art of that.
Hey, you should. Absolutely should. Please do.
Mm.
Shay is who I'm talking to because she's probably the only person that knows about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh boy.
man. So she's like, "Are you the pirate I know about or not?" Obviously, meaning that she's only known him through stories.
Yeah.
Like, stories that she's read, literature. Who's gonna write? Obviously, like intellectuals and things like that. Those who are interested in the mythos,
Yeah.
right? So it makes sense that she's only read very highfalutin things about Jack Sparrow, because the only people who are gonna write them are highfalutin people,
Yeah.
right? And Jack, and she's like, "How do you escape last time?" And this is where Jack finally spills the beans on how he escaped last time.
Behind the curtain.
And he's like, "Fuck it. I'm in this position. Might as well let you know how it really happened."
We're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, he's like, "Last time I was here for a grand total of 3 days. All right." Like he's pissed to talk about it. He's like, "Last time," and he picks up this like
the cellar.
this cellar, and he's like, "The rum runners use this island as a cache or a cache. They came by, and I was able to barter passage off."
Yeah. Some bootleggers use this island as a cache to store their excess liquor. I just happened to be on it, and I bartered my way off it.
It's super lackluster, super lucky,
Yeah.
essentially.
There was no grand scheme, no expert craftsmanship, no supernatural element
no
at
sea
all.
turtles, no back hair.
Not a single supernatural element. I just got lucky and met these people who were just, bootleggers basically.
Yeah, it's such a I wouldn't say a letdown, but it's honestly what happens. It's just like, look, I was marooned on this island. I had nothing essentially that I could do. I was discovered by these rum runners, which, by the way, at the time I think it was illegal to transport the rum. Like what they were doing, they were essentially doing illegal. They were doing illegal activities.
Well, I think it was like distribution.
Yeah.
Because they weren't paying taxes on that alcohol.
Right, exactly.
So.
And so, although, if you're playing Assassin's Creed and you see someone's got, 45 rum, you're pillaging that one.
You're just like,
that's some cash to be made.
That's some illegal activity you got there. Mind if I do some of my own?
Raise the black flag. But anyway, so he was able to get passage off. It's a super lucky, lackluster, not at all legendary situation. And I think that's what is interesting about Jack, is that he's been able to portray himself as this legendary figure.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, throughout the 3 movies, Jack Sparrow is a legendary figure.
He definitely has the confidence and the swagger of one.
He's essentially like Riley. He has the confidence and the swagger of a legendary person, has just done nothing.
He has no accolades under his belt whatsoever. A 100% disappointment across the board. But damn, doesn't he convince you he's great?
Aside from oh god, why is it not showing him now? The sand. What is it called?
The sand? What? The sandbox?
The sandbox days.
The sandbox
Aside
days.
from that.
Yeah.
That's your golden goose.
Oh yeah, that was the sandbox days. God, that's a throwback. It's almost a forgotten project actually, because it's evolved so much that it's no longer even the original concept that I came up with.
Man. And then I feel like as soon as you get your PC up and running, essentially what I would like to do, and I know this is an aside from y'all guys, I do apologize, but when you get your PC up and running, I would love to get together with you at night and write about Legionnaires and what we want to do for it.
Great.
And just get an overview down for at least our first season, and then write down the screenplay from there. Because I don't have problems with writing it. I just want you to. I just like collabing with you and coming up with different ideas. Because what I want to do is I want to get that overview. If we can get the overview knocked out, I think I can put together the rest of it. At least for a good part. But I want you to be involved in it, because I think me and you do well collaborating together.
Yeah.
I think me and you, if we really put our minds together, we could make a triple R.
Yeah. It would be like you and me. And we should have like a third guy just so he can like chime in and we can shoot down all of his ideas.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan, I think he has a lot of good creative comedic ideas.
Yeah.
I actually would like to include him in a lot of the writing process, if
Like,
possible.
All right. So, yeah, I like that, but what if we also made one of the main characters, a little diverse? Maybe we can make one of them Latino and we can be like, shut the fuck up! We throw like a notepad at him. We kick his ass.
Bitch!
We just throw like like when people like grab like a neck of a beer bottle and smash bottle. We do that with like a coffee pot.
Not in my Christian household.
Just smash a whole hot coffee pot across someone's face.
Oh man, I would like to. We should do that in Legionnaires. We should.
Yeah.
That's one of the key points of Legionnaires is they use the stupidest objects to fight
Anything.
people with.
There was a joke where we wanted to write a scene where John is in a fist fight in a kitchen, knives literally everywhere.
Yes.
And he only grabs things that are not knives.
because in the sense that when he's getting beaten up, he's grabbing from behind himself.
Yeah, so he can't.
So
really...
he's not seeing the knives or anything like that. He's just grabbing whatever he can feel, and so he grabs like spatulas.
Yeah.
Or like tongs, like
Yeah.
all the items that he doesn't need.
Yeah, and he still uses them effectively as he can.
Yeah, but regardless of that, so with Jack here, he's like, I was able to barter passage off from where he was from a lot of things. He's like, they've long been, by the looks of it, they've long been out of business. Probably have your bloody friend Norrington to thank for that.
That asshole.
That fucking asshole.
Because I guess if you were a rum runner, you might as well have been a pirate in Norrington's eyes.
I would love one of these bottles.
Oh yeah, just like that clear glass bottle with a cork still in it.
What I really like is I like the black coated bottles. Have you seen those? They use those in Pirates 2, in Dead Man's Chest. They have a lot of these like matte black bottles that are like textured.
Yeah.
They look really nice. And then you see them a lot in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And I love the look of them. And I would love to just have a rum. What I want to do is I want to get one of those bottles. Mm-hmm. And I want to just always pour Captain Morgan in there. And just always have a rum bottle at the ready.
Sure.
Just in this black matte color. And in that shape in particular. I think would be really, really nice, honestly. Because that way, if I have my day where, Shay comes home and I'm listening to sea shanties from AC4.
Yeah.
Just drinking straight from the bottle. Like,
man, I'm thinking, like, in these days, rum was a lucrative business. But damn, glass blowers? That's the job you wanted, because that is fine craftsmanship.
Absolutely.
Windows, bottles, all of that shit had to be handcrafted.
Lots of money to be made.
Lots of money to be made. If you somehow got into the business of rum and glass blowing,
Shit. So essentially what he's alleging here is that Norrington had to do with a lot of the rum runners more than likely going out of business, because Norrington has been catching all of the pirates recently.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's in Port Royal. That's why he's known for that, which is good because it's a good wraparound. I don't know how else to describe it right now. Essentially, Norrington has been an incredibly important asset to capturing pirates.
Yeah.
So he's put at the station of Port Royal, which is one of the most well-established England fortresses.
I wonder, did the Pirates movies ever go into the backstory of Norrington and how he became such a such a red vision, just like seeing red,
Doom
blood,
Eternal.
there's a Doom Eternal of like a British Royal Navy against pirates?
Unfortunately not, as far as I'm aware.
I would love to see a whole like
that would be
plot of Norrington.
That would be honestly not bad. Make a show of it, like Disney, if you had the balls. That would honestly be a pretty good show.
Yeah,
Norrington cracking down on pirates.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Like the origin of the man.
That'd be cool. Anyway, and so Elizabeth obviously is pissed off and let down. She's like, so that's it then. The stories are not true. That's the secret. The grand adventure of infamous Jack Sparrow. You spent 3 days lying on a beach drinking rum. It's like, So essentially,
Not
you're
a
not.
bad way to spend your time, by the
You're
way.
well. She's let down because she's like, essentially, you're not the legend I thought you were. You're just
No.
a piece of shit.
Yeah, precisely.
You know, and you know what he says in response? He's like, "Welcome to the Caribbean, love." He's like, essentially, he's like,
No, fuck right off and get out of my
he's
way.
like, yeah, have a bottle while you're at it,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And so he passes her a bottle.
Wait, back up.
He has a separate bottle. It's more of a, what is it? What is it? The scientific term for the thing that bisque? No. Oh God.
Wait,
You know what I'm talking about?
the
Beaker.
beaker?
His is more
Oh.
beaker shaped. But he's like, you know,
Trying to
welcome
look-
to the Caribbean, love. So
Yeah.
it is
So,
bit.
yeah,
It's a
that's
bit
that's
more. It's a bit more beaker
Okay,
shaped.
that's the thing. It's like I've seen those types of bottles before, but what's up with that? Is
Yeah.
that like a more official? Is it like for storage somehow?
It's just a different variant. I do know that one thing is that in order to save money,
Mm-hmm.
this is from my interpretation. I might be mistaken, so please forgive me if I am. But my interpretation is, whenever you see a wine bottle, which it's often done, and you see the indention on the bottom that goes into the bottle itself,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware, that is to lower the amount of milliliters that are in that bottle, thus saving them money.
I see.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but we don't
there
really...
there might be a reason for that, but I think the reason would probably be dumb. Unless
From
it's
what
some
I
sort of
heard is that
traditional
the
reason.
indention is so that like when someone is pouring you a wine, they can place their thumb in that and hold the bottle of wine like this.
That sounds like highfalutin bullshit.
It is. And I'm glad you caught that, because what the fuck is stopping you from just holding a bottle normally?
Welcome to the Caribbean, love.
Yeah. So he like passes a bottle. I like how he's just like, get the fuck out of my way.
and
I'm
she's
drinking this rum.
fucking pissed.
He's like, I'm stuck here with an idiot who's probably going to have his way with me.
But she has a smart thought. She's like, wait a minute, he's gonna get pissed drunk, and there's a lot of rum.
I can have sex with him while he's passed out.
To all of the ones who have not seen this movie, rum is flammable.
Rum is alcoholic.
Which is very flammable.
Yeah.
So they're partying. She's like, we're devils. We're really bad eggs. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. They're singing the song, the old song, which I like because they're singing the shanty from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's a nice wraparound to the last...
tie-in.
Yeah, the last time we saw it, which was her singing it as a child.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you know, yo ho, a pirate's life for me. And Jack's like, I love this song. And they're like getting all drunk and fruity and fun. He's like, really bad eggs. Oh, he's obviously super intoxicated. Look at how much he's drank since the beginning.
That's a man's man.
You have to remember, this is rum we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's some hard shit.
This is
And he's down to almost the entire bottle.
This is 1700s rum.
Yeah, it's some good shit. Dude, imagine trying some rum from the 1700s.
Yeah, before they had like FDA regulations and shit. If the FDA...
Now, this scene,
deals
I
with
think,
that.
is probably going to be the final scene we're going to cover, but I really like this.
Yeah.
I really like this scene. Because I like Jack's point of view on it. I think we learn a lot by Jack in the scene. So Jack is obviously intoxicated. So he's a bit more revealing than he was before. He looks at Elizabeth and he's like, when I get the pearl back, because it's his goal, he's like, I want to teach the song to the whole crew. We'll sing it all the time. He's really invested in getting the crew on the Pearl and owning that ship. And she's like, you'll be the most fearsome pirates in the Spanish Main. She's throwing a lot of words at him, and he's just like, oh shit. He's like, not just the Spanish Main, love. He's like, the entire ocean, the entire world. Like he wants to be the greatest pirate ever known, which adds to his legend.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he likes his legend so much, is because it bolsters him up, makes him more than what he actually is, right? It fuses with his ego. And so he's sitting there at the fire and he's like, and I love this. whenever we want to go. He's like, we go. He's like, that's what a ship is, you know? He's like, it's not just a kneel and a hole in a deck and a sails. That's what a ship needs. What a ship is what the Black Pearl really is freedom. And that is what Jack believes in.
That's what he's all about.
This is his character, like, ideology. This is what he believes in. And this shot right here is something I really like, because he's not just looking out to his hand. He's not just looking out to the sea. This is the night sky in an ocean, on an island where there is no light, like light sources, right? He's looking out to the horizon, to the stars. He's like, this is freedom. This is the beyond, the final frontier. This is wherever I want to go, I can go. Whatever I want to do, I can do. Complete and total freedom. That is what Jack believes in. That is Jack's purpose. That is what Jack wants more than anything else. The Black Pearl being the ship that he being the ship that he gained from this deal with J.B. Jones, right? That we learn about later on. But even without that, the best ship, the ship that was his, the ship that he cultivated and grew before his team mutinied him. Just looking at the first movie, this is his baby.
Yeah.
This is his life. This is what he believes in. This is what he wants.
This is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why I love the scenes, because you learn what Jack really wants. He doesn't want to betray friends. He doesn't want to just live a life of just, marrying who he wants. That's why he doesn't believe in, essentially, in marriage, is because what he wants is he just wants to do, he wants to satisfy those impulses. He wants to do whatever the hell he wants to do. He wants pure, unobstructed, absolute freedom. And as big of an issue as that could be to any civilized mind, I can appreciate his absolutist nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I can appreciate that. Like, he still has an honor system. He still believes in right and in some form or fashion, right and wrong. But what he truly wants is the freedom of choice, the freedom to do whatever you want, to go wherever you want, to see whatever you want. The without the lack of restrictions. You see, it calls back to him in Port Royal, when he was, even though he was in a prosperous area, he would go wherever the fuck he wanted. He wanted to go on a ship, he'd go on a ship. If he wanted to go in the middle of this area, he'd go in an area. This is who he is. This is what he believes in. And that's why this scene is brilliant, because he's like, a ship is not just what makes it work. It's not just what makes it function. A ship has more meaning than that. A ship is metaphorical. It is metaphor for freedom, for access, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I really, really love about this scene in particular. It's such a good line for Jack, It's good. It's just great shit. It's something I can really sink my teeth into. Even as a kid, I really appreciated the scene.
Yeah.
I looked out at this scene, and even as a young boy, I could still appreciate how Jack felt about the Black Pearl. Like, it is the all access. It is the unstoppable. He could go wherever he wanted, do whatever he wanted, because he had this ship at his side to take him anywhere. Yeah. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you're 16 and you finally get yourself your first car.
Yeah.
That car is a symbol more than anything.
Like, hell yeah! Got my license, got my car, got my keys. Time to get some tang.
Exactly. When I was a kid, I'd finally gotten my car, and I'd finally gotten my license. When I had finally gotten all the pieces together, I knew that when I had gotten my car, the next day I had work.
Yeah.
In, I think, the morning. It was like a Saturday or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I told myself, I said, no, I don't want my first drive, my first free drive by myself, to be going to work, going to some place that was holding me back. going to some place that was restricting me, right? I wanted to do something that was entirely my own interest and my own freedom to do so.
Yeah.
So, but the day before, it was like 6 o'clock at 6 p.m. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I decided, I was like, no, I want to take my car and I want to go get a 6 pack of Coke.
Yeah.
Just 6 pack of Coca-Colas. Just get some soda for just the hell of it, just because I can.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have the freedom to be able to go where I want, and I don't want my first drive to be going to a job
That you're obligated to go
that
to.
I'm obligated to go to. I want my first drive to be going somewhere so I could do what I want. And I love Coke. I love the taste of Coca-Cola. I love the taste of soda.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it. Instead of, getting beer, because obviously I wasn't old enough, I was 16. I was like, I want to go get a 6 pack of Coke, of the bottle of Cokes.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove out to Walmart, got myself those bottles, and I came back. That was my first drive. And that was intentional. I wanted my first drive to be freeing, to be doing what I wanted, something that I wanted to do. And going out and buying, just some soda was more freeing to me than anything else. Just being able to do what I wanted to do was set free from the boundaries of my family, set free from the boundaries of my parents. Being able to go and fulfill my whatever will. And that's what that car represented to me, was that freedom to go, to do whatever, to have no restrictions, no boundaries, right? That's what kind of a car does to everybody in modern society. And to back in the day, that's what a ship did.
Yeah.
It's a very important line. It's very huge to Jack's character. And he and to someone like Jack, who probably grew up from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything to him. You didn't have access to go from port to port as you wanted. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
That is pure unadulterated freedom as far as the 1700s are concerned.
That probably plays into his background as a employee of the East Empire Company, because he saw, like, this is a ship. It's freedom. It's boundless horizons and stars in the night sky and endless destinations. And then he saw all of these people who were literally in chains in a ship.
Restrained. Yeah,
He's
restrained
like,
in the.
I was like,
yeah, they're restrained in the modicum of freedom.
He's like, these
It's an
are,
oxymoron.
These are people chained in a ship, which should be the epitome and the peak of freedom.
Exactly.
And they're in chains. I was like, people aren't cargo. This is not freedom. This is not humanity.
Yeah, that's actually a good line. I think that was in either one of the books or was in one of the lines. But I've seen people reference it before, where he goes, "People aren't cargo."
Yeah,
it's a very good line for Jack as a character.
Yeah.
Where essentially I don't think he said it in any of the movies. It might have been
Maybe
in a
not.
book. I don't know. So forgive me if I don't know. But it definitely plays into Jack's beliefs, where people should be allowed to do what they want. That's what he believes in. He believes in unadulterated freedom, as far as I'm aware. Because you look at Tortuga, that's what Tortuga is. And he loves Tortuga.
Yeah.
For that exact purpose. That it is whatever anybody wants to do, whenever, all the time.
Yeah, it's like, Tortuga is basically like, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, and if you do something that someone doesn't like, they have the right to shoot you.
Exactly. and that's why I like this scene in particular. Like, even looking at Johnny Depp's acting, it's like he really believes this in this scene.
Yeah.
I always loved his acting, because even though he's intoxicated, he's like, what the Black Pearl really is he's looking at, he's like, freedom. And it's just like, he's stretching out his arm, like, towards the stars. He's trying to reach what he cannot grasp. It's just so good. It's such a good scene that no one ever talks about in this movie. It's such a good character scene for what really lets you know who Jack truly is. And I think it's fantastic. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. It's fantastic stuff.
It's great.
I think it's great. And then, we probably need to keep going, but regardless, he's like, it's freedom. And he's sitting there staring at the sky, and she's like, Jack, it must be, really terrible for
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see if we can get a good shot of her rum bottle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's not entirely full. That's for sure.
Babe, look at that.
Look at that. That's fucking more empty than his is, I reckon.
She's been swinging.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is when you get the good sneak peek. She's like, it must be really terrible for you, to be trapped on this island. And Jack's like, I know what's about to happen. Let me, just get a little limber for what's about to go down.
Yeah. He's just like looking out. He's like, oh shit, she's hitting on me.
He's like,
this is about to happen.
He's like, really? Finally? This woman? Me and her?
Finally. Fucking Jasmine and whatever her goddamn name was. they were a bunch of old hags.
Oh god.
Scarlet
and Giselle.
Scarlet and Giselle.
Yeah, I fucking remember that. That's how much I like this movie.
Those two old haggard fucking harlots. I'm done with those.
Time to get some high class poon.
Yeah, time to get some governor's daughter tang.
But he's like, oh yes. He's like, he wraps his hand. And he's like, but the company is infinitely better than last time, and the scenery is definitely improved. And she's like, Mr. Sparrow,
you think I might have done?
I'm not entirely sure I've had enough rum for that kind of talk.
He's like,
he's like,
then you should have some more.
He's like, I completely understand. That means shots.
He's like, I haven't had enough rum for that kind of talk. He's like, I see you want more. Here you go.
He's like, absolutely. He's like, I know exactly what you mean. I like that because he curls his mustache.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, time to get freaky.
Yeah, this is the I'm about to fuck your face stash.
Absolutely. He's like, time to get wooey. And she's like, to freedom, which honestly is a good line from her point.
Yeah.
Because he responds in tow. He goes, to the Black Pearl. Clink. Which honestly is perfect because that's what he sees as freedom. Unadulterated.
Yeah.
So it's a good line. And so as she goes to drink, he obviously starts chugging it. So we can assume from the way that she's looking that she's been either pouring out this wine, it's like rum, or she's been pretending to drink it. But she actually hasn't been drinking it.
Yeah.
And he obviously she's done with him.
Yeah.
And he just drinks himself into oblivion as he passes out.
She's just waiting for him to pass out from alcohol shock.
Exactly.
He wakes up.
He's like,
with a headache.
With a smell and a headache. And he's like, fuck, what? Something on fire? And he's like, what?
The smoke immediately clears his headache.
Exactly. And he looks out and she's throwing rum on the
He's
fire.
like, you fucking bitch!
It blows up. And he's like, the look of horror on his face is fucking incredible. Hold on. This is great. So he gets up and he's just like, huh? He's like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, well, I'm still hungover. What's happening?
It's like, oh, my fucking head.
And she's throwing the fucking barrel on there.
Immediately sobers up.
Immediately. It blows up. And he's just, the look of horror. He's like, you did not.
I would have loved to edit the scene where he just like runs up to her and he like Superman punches her in the face. Just beats her to death with like a plank of wood.
It's like, no, not good. He's like, stop. He's like, fucking stop. Stop. He's like, what are you doing? He's fucking freaking out. He's going crazy. He's like, you burned all the food, the shade. I like that, the shade from the...
Yeah, from the trees.
As if he didn't have plenty.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the rum. And she's like, yes, the rum's gone. And he's like, why is the rum gone? Which is the classic line.
What the fuck?
It's like, why is the rum gone?
You couldn't have just burned one bottle?
And she goes, one, because it is a vile drink. Oh yeah, I should probably bring up the overlay. That turns even the most respectable man into complete scoundrels.
The kind of men that will grab a titty without asking.
And two, that signal is over 1,000 feet high. The entire Royal Navy is looking for me. Do you think there is the slightest chance that they won't see it? Which is honestly not a terrible point. If the entire Navy is looking for this governor's daughter, then a signal 1,000 feet high will at least maybe signal somebody. It's not a
Yeah.
terrible plan.
No, it's not bad. It's just like, if it fails, you fucking bitch, the
Yeah,
rum's gone.
You're fucking gone.
Then I'm slitting your throat.
And that's what Jack says. He goes, but why is the rum gone?
He's like, you had all of these trees, all of this grass, all of these leaves to burn. Why did you burn my rum?
Why did you burn the rum? And she's like, just wait, Captain Sparrow, you know. Give it 1 hour, maybe 2, keep a weather eye open, and you'll see white sails on that horizon. And he immediately
He's
in
a-
her ass.
He considers it.
He's like, I am two steps away from fucking blowing your head off, bitch. He is so ready to blow
He's
her
like,
head.
you're not under the pirate's curse.
He's like, I can fucking kill you, and I just might.
He's like, I only had one person on this list, Captain Barbosa.
But you make a close second.
You just bumped yourself on that list.
I love it because he really fucking thinks about it. He's like, I'm this close to blowing your head off. he's like, fuck. He runs up.
Can't do it.
He's like,
Wants to do it, can't do it.
and I like it because he starts mumbling what she said to him. She's like, must have been terrible for you to be trapped in shack. He's
That
like,
is a
well,
burn.
bloody is now. He's like, well, it's fucking miserable now that you burned all the rum.
You fucking bitch.
Although, if you look at it, that is a huge smoke signal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a terrible plan.
I mean, he should have at least, like, popped her in the mouth at least once. Just to let her...
He walks off, you know. And he looks over, and boom, sees white
There.
sails.
Yeah. Royal ship, right there.
Which, like I said, isn't too far from the contrary, because if they saw a smoke signal, they would sail that way.
They would at least investigate it.
Yeah. It is a bit close for my taste. It is a bit really quick, because even from him walking from where she was to where he is now.
I doubt it would have taken an hour.
Yeah.
Much less 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was probably like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that's really quick. I feel like it would have taken at least a day.
I would have loved if they added, like... Well, she said give it an hour, maybe 2. So we think, like... Given what she knows about the Royal Navy, she was born into it, perhaps. She would have, like, at least a good sense of how they respond and when they respond and how urgently they respond. So... But even then, like, that walk from where he was standing to where he is now, that was no more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that long.
15, maybe.
Let's actually look. Let's see what this point of view is.
Yeah. I would have loved if they added, like, a 5-minute deleted scene of him just uninterruptedly beating the piss out of her.
Just, fuck!
Just, like, grabbing, like, barrels, smashing them over her head, taking a coconut, just, like a glass bottle, just like
drinking the milk and then just like slamming it back in her face.
Like using the shells as brass knuckles.
What the fuck? Welcome to Action Bros Gaming, where we talk about abusing women.
Specifically Keira Knightley, above all else.
Above all else.
Above all the other women in this world, Keira Knightley is the one that we want to see the ass whipped most of all.
But then, yeah, he eats his words and he sees the ship and he's like, there'll be no living with her after this. He's like, I can't admit that I'm wrong in this situation. And with that, he's like, you know, we gotta save Will, blah, blah, blah. This, unfortunately, is where we'll have to end our episode. We're going on 3 hours now, and we're going to have to end it at some point, as much as it upsets us. Yeah. Wow, what a fantastic year it's been.
3 hours, and 1 hour of that was us shit-talking Keira Knightley.
No shit. So, next year...
I would love to meet Keira Knightley.
Yeah, honestly, it would be fantastic. But next year, our goal... as a cohesive unit as we are, Riley now has his PC. We need to get it set up. We need to get it OBS and TeamViewer so that way I can run it because Riley is lazy.
Yeah, because I don't know how to do any of that shit, and Jeremy does.
Yes, so I will get this set up for my boy, and essentially we're going to be doing more live streams. We're going to be doing more of these podcasts. We're going to finish up Pirates of the Caribbean, talk about other shows, talk about other movies that we like. Honestly, because you know, I'm throwing you a bone on this one and talking
Mm-hmm.
about pirates. I feel like the next one should be Fight Club.
Yeah.
I really do.
Okay.
I think the next breakdown should be Fight Club.
Sure.
Mostly because I know how mean you know, I know how much you love Fight Club, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're of age where we should really, you know, decide to start talking about it.
Yeah.
If you think you're ready, of
No,
course.
absolutely. I mean, we have tons to say about Fight Club.
Absolutely. I know I have lots to say. I'm sure you have lots to say too. It is your favorite movie. I figure that's the way we're probably going to do this. We're going to do my favorites, his favorites, back to my favorites, then to his favorites. It's just going to be a back and forth. Of course, we're going to talk about more relevant topics, things that come out, you know, relevant TV shows and things that come out in the following year. But we have, it looks like 45 minutes left of this movie.
45 minutes. That's 2 episodes, Jeremy.
That's at
two
least
more episodes.
that's at least 2 episodes, maybe
Mm-hmm.
three, depending on how much we break down from all
Yeah.
the what was it called the payoffs
Yeah.
that come from the beginnings of this movie. We are in the final act of the movie, so we're getting there. But I appreciate y'all guys for tuning in for what is going to be over 3 hours of content.
Yeah.
It's been quite fun a ride talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
We've really broken down a lot.
Yeah. I mean, this is Jeremy's favorite movie. This is my favorite actress that I fantasize about beating the shit out of.
But either way, it's been quite a year, and I've loved doing this with you. I've loved figuring out where I stand in the movie review sense, and talking about this. It's been loads of fun for me. Um, and we will let y'all guys know where we go from the future. Of course, we are still, again, we keep bringing up different videos that we're planning on doing. We just need to find our sweet spot where we're doing good and enjoying it. Where we have time, because obviously we have work, we have our own lives that we have to attend to. We have to pay the bills somehow, and you know, obviously we're not doing enough on this to be able to make it work. But we're still, you know, we're still doing it either way because it's fun. It's something that it's a way for me and Riley to get together on the weekends, and it's quite fun. So, without further ado, we will see you all guys next week when we post the next video coming from this, and we will get closer and closer to finishing off the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens in the next year. We'll see you all guys later. So until then, bye.
Goodbye.
Riley still hates you, apparently.
I do, and I never will not.
See y'all guys later. Deuces.